Chapter 1236. Before the longevity rat received the pure spirit chi baptism and metamorphosed into a fae, it already had extraordinary intelligence. Although it was not as intelligent as a housekeeping beast like Genius, it was not much different from Chimey. It was similar to Chimey before it had metamorphosed into a fae. The longevity rat, which had transformed into a fae, could not speak yet, but it could easily understand Lin Yuan's words. For example, when Lin Yuan fed the soldier radish to the longevity rat, he found that it preferred to nibble on the soldier radish's vine stem. The vine stem's nutrient content was far less than the soldier radish's leaves. Therefore, Lin Yuan asked the longevity rat to nibble on the soldier radish's leaves. Although the longevity rat preferred to eat the stem, it still obediently ate the leaves. Under Lin Yuan's command, the longevity rat still obediently ate the leaves. The longevity rat found that Lin Yuan's attention was on other things and did not have the energy to care about itself. Only then would it nibble on the soldier radish's vine stem and turn around to peek at Lin Yuan. It was as though it was afraid that Lin Yuan would find out that it was secretly eating. This level of intelligence was not much different from a 5-year-old human child. When it heard Lin Yuan say that he was going to find a master to send it out, the longevity rat immediately spun around on Lin Yuan's palm. It was so anxious that it kept stomping its feet and looked at Lin Yuan with pitiful eyes. It had an expression that said, "How can you not want me when I'm so cute?" Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan quickly circulated his spiritual power, and pure spirit chi spread out from his palm. Lin Yuan thought that the pure spirit chi from his palm would be enough to appease the longevity rat. Who would have thought that after sensing the pure spirit chi, the longevity rat would feel even more wronged? Its small eyes even squeezed out 2 drops of crystal tears, wetting the longevity rat's orange eyelids. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan immediately understood that this little fellow was worried that it would not be able to sense this pure spirit chi if it left his side. This was the only explanation that made sense. Why did the longevity rat feel even more wronged after sensing the pure spirit chi? Lin Yuan said as he rubbed the longevity rat's soft and tight fur. You only have 1 year of lifespan. If you don't form a contract with someone, you will quickly absorb spiritual ingredients that contain vitality. After 1 year, you won't have the chance to feel the pure spirit chi even if you want to. After a year, even if you want to experience pure spiritual energy, you won't have the chance. When you get to your new master, you can eat any spirit materials that can increase your life force. You'll be able to continue living and experience the pure spiritual chi whenever you want. Do you still remember being chased by other fays in the forest? Form a contract with your new master. Your new master will protect you. This kind of exhausting life will never happen to you again. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's guarantee, the longevity rat slowly calmed down. Then, the longevity rat's 2 small claws grabbed Lin Yuan's fingers and shook them gently. She looked as if she was reluctant to leave him even if it was like this. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan said with a gentle smile. Your new master is my master. Usually, I will go to my master's place. We will have many opportunities to meet. After you go there, you can even meet a stingy rabbit who loves to eat carrots. That stingy rabbit is just like you, living a carefree life all day long. The 2 of you should be able to get along very well. As Lin Yuan spoke, she was lying on the table listlessly in the Radiant Moon Palace's inner palace. The carrots were casually planted in the jade basin beside her. She's eyes flickered with purple, and large teardrops rolled down her cheeks. However, whenever a teardrop rolled onto the table, she seemed to be afraid of being seen by others. She hurriedly used her white forelegs to wipe away the teardrops. The carrots planted in the basin beside her could no longer arouse she's interest. If she could know what Lin Yuan said to the longevity rat, even if Lin Yuan was the Moon Empress disciple, she would definitely pick up the carrots and let Lin Yuan know the joy of hiding them. You're the one who's comfortable. I'm cultivating by eating carrots, okay? It's scary to be ignorant. Also, I'm not stingy at all. Many experts in the world want to smell my carrots, but I refuse. You didn't just nibble on the skin of my carrots, you even ate half of them. My carrots have yet to recover. Humph. Angry. After comforting the longevity rat, Lin Yuan was ready to return to his room to take a bath. The conditions in the Divine Wood Federation were limited, and Lin Yuan had no chance to take a bath. Lin Yuan's body genes had been optimized. Lin Yuan's skin, which had been optimized, had the ability to resist dust. However, daily bathing had long become Lin Yuan's habit. If he didn't bathe for a day, Lin Yuan would feel uncomfortable all over his body. Listening to the sound of running water while bathing, Lin Yuan could also calm down and consider his recent gains and losses. During this trip to the Divine Wood Federation, he had easily opened up the situation of the entire Arcane continent. He was now a major shareholder and honorary president of the Sincerity Chamber of Commerce. It was tantamount to opening up the trade route of the Arcane continent, and it also gave him a local force belonging to the Deep Burn Federation. Tally's Iron Hoof tribe gave him an official identity to develop in the Iron Hammer Federation. Luoya, who was born in a 2-star family, was considered a noble in the Divine Wood Federation. Through Luoya, he could quickly develop and infiltrate the Divine Wood Federation. Everything was going smoothly on the Arcane continent. When Su Iran, who was currently in the Divine Wood Federation, came to his side, as the former Gloom envoy, she could very well assist him in development. As for the Swamp World, Lin Yuan didn't even dare to think about recruiting an expert of Bai Yan's level. Bai Yan occupied the Dark Scorpion Apostle's territory, and the Dark Scorpion Apostle's territory blocked his territory. It was tantamount to fundamentally isolating the dangerous factors in his territory. This way, Shiteng, Wendy, and Bai Xian could quickly develop their strength and strengthen their faith through a steady stream of marsh crocodiles. Everything was so prosperous. Thinking of this, a smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. It seemed that when he returned to the Divine Wood Federation, he should take the initiative to do something. After bathing, Lin Yuan chose a set of sky blue and moon yellow spirit chi clothes that Wen Yu had designed not long ago. Lin Yuan's spirit chi clothes had always been white, black, and blue. Lin Yuan had almost never worn this kind of sky blue and moon yellow spirit chi clothes. The patterns on this sky blue and moon yellow spirit chi clothes were all made of jadeite craftsmanship. The belly hair of the diamond clear light aureole was collaged on the surface of the metal-based spirit chi clothes. Then, the ice silkworm silk thread was threaded through the jadeite craftsmanship and embroidered into the style of the rising sun cloud pattern. The gold-threaded jade beads covered the belly hair of the clear light aureole, and the bright color made the entire spirit chi clothes look unusually soft at first glance. 166 Reading Network. Chapter 1237. The moon yellow color of the spirit chi clothes and the large area of sky blue on the outside added a bright and smooth aura to the style of the whole spirit chi clothes. Coupled with Lin Yuan's natural temperament, Lin Yuan's outstanding looks were suddenly pulled up by a lot. Lin Yuan looked at himself in the mirror and didn't feel any difference from the past. As soon as Lin Yuan left the room, he saw Lu Jie rushing back from the land of spirit suppression. When Lu Jie saw Lin Yuan's eyes suddenly lit up, he could not help but sigh in his heart. Compared to black and dark blue, Lin Yuan is undoubtedly more suitable to wear light-colored clothes. People without good looks would only look uglier in light-colored clothes. If a person with good looks but no temperament wore light-colored clothes, it would be boring at first glance. Only someone like Lin Yuan, who had excellent looks and temperament, would be able to hold on perfectly when wearing light-colored spirit chi clothing. At the same time, it gave off a very clean feeling. Upon seeing that Lu Jie had returned to the mansion and was ready to cook, Lin Yuan hurriedly said, "Brother Lu, I was just about to call you. I'm going to Master's place to eat tonight. You don't have to bring me dinner tonight. Wen Yu has just eaten the fishball noodles and grilled chicken wings you made this morning. She'll probably sleep until tomorrow morning." Lu Jie nodded. "That's great. The mother of Bloodbath didn't have enough to eat because it wanted to save the chicken wings for Wen Yu this morning. If it's just me and the mother of Bloodbath eating in the mansion tonight, I can roast some chicken wings and bird feys for the mother of Bloodbath." Let the mother of bloodbath have a good meal. After speaking to Lu Jia, Lin Yuan immediately used the ethereal jellyfish's node teleportation. After a few shuttles, he arrived at the Radiant Moon Palace's entrance with ease. When he arrived at the entrance of the Radiant Moon Palace, he suddenly felt that something was wrong. In the past, the 2 silver stamen gold luster caches in front of the Radiant Moon Palace would always bloom and sway their branches. Under the dusk, the silver stamen blossomed with a silver radiance that could even overshadow the sunset. But now, the flower buds of these silver stamen gold luster cassia were all tightly closed, and the cassia branches drooped weakly. Lin Yuan made a judgment based on the knowledge he had grasped. This was a kind of budding state, and it was definitely the performance of a plant fey when it was in extreme sorrow. But why would the 2 silver stamen gold luster cassia be sad? Could something have happened to the Radiant Moon Palace? With this thought in mind, he hurriedly walked through the Radiant Moon Palace's door and arrived at the front hall. As a result, Lin Yuan realized that the 4 tea attendants were still standing in the front hall as usual. It looked as if nothing had happened at all. The eldest of the 4 tea attendants, Kai Cha, quickly came over and greeted him politely. "Your Highness, today's dinner was personally cooked by the Moon Empress using the spiritual ingredients personally selected by her. At this time, the Black Moon Envoy should be in the kitchen helping the Moon Empress watch over the fire. The Moon Empress should be waiting for young Lord in the inner hall." Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan greeted the 4 tea attendants one by one and walked toward the inner palace. The 4 tea attendants' reactions allowed Lin Yuan to relax. It seemed like he had been overthinking. It was just that the 2 silver stamen gold luster caches didn't have any problems. When he saw the Moon Empress later, he felt that he should mention the situation of the 2 silver stamen gold luster caches to her. Before Lin Yuan could reach the inner palace, he saw Mystic Moon, who looked troubled. Lin Yuan asked curiously upon seeing Mystic Moon. "Uncle Xian, Kai Cha said that you are in the kitchen. Are you standing here to wait for me?" When Mystic Moon saw Lin Yuan, she immediately stepped forward and said to him, "Your Highness, that drop of geocentric immortal milk tonight, you..." Before Mystic Moon could finish his sentence, the Moon Empress' voice echoed from the inner palace. "Little Yuan, quickly come to the rear hall and take a look at the spirit siphon goldfish that Master has just bred." The Moon Empress was using spirit chi voice transmission, and even if her voice was far away, it could still be clearly transmitted to other people's ears. This ability was exclusive to S-class and above powerhouses. Lin Yuan was only a C-rank spirit chi professional and didn't possess such abilities yet. Thus, Lin Yuan couldn't immediately respond to the Moon Empress. The Moon Empress' voice interrupted Xian Yu's words. As a result, Lin Yuan only heard Mystic Moon mention the geocentric jade milk. Lin Yuan knew that the geocentric jade milk was a rare fey. Back then, when his master, the Moon Empress, was talking about top-notch spiritual ingredients, she had specially mentioned the geocentric jade milk. In the world, there was a type of most precious spiritual ingredient, and it was known as a rare item. All sorts of rare items were compiled into a rare item list, and there were a total of 100 types of rare items on the list. The geocentric jade milk happened to be ranked 17th among the 100 types of rare items. In fact, all the rare items on the rare item list had special functions. They had effects that other rare items couldn't replace. Therefore, the rare item list couldn't determine the true value of the rare item. In Lin Yuan's hands, the lifeform Silent Flame, which he had always treated as a treasure, wasn't qualified to be listed on the rare item list. However, what did a rare item like the geocentric jade milk have to do with him? When Lin Yuan saw Mystic Moon's troubled expression, he frowned slightly. "Uncle Mystic, I think you have something on your mind. Is there something that you need me to do?" When Mystic Moon heard the Moon Empress' sudden interruption, he knew that the Moon Empress was reminding him. Otherwise, what was there to see about the few spirit siphon goldfish in the lotus pond? Those butterfly tail spirit siphon goldfish might have reached suzerain and awakened their hidden bloodline. The fish's wings and tails were like butterfly wings, and they were like butterflies fluttering in the water. However, such things weren't worth the Moon Empress dragging Lin Yuan to admire. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's question, Mystic Moon's knitted brows didn't relax. He just shook his head with a bitter smile. Young lord, the Moon Empress is waiting for you to admire the fish. Don't let her wait for too long. When Lin Yuan and Mystic Moon arrived at the inner palace, Lin Yuan found his master, the Moon Empress, sitting at the table. She was smiling gently at him, just like how she usually did when she saw him. Just as Lin Yuan was about to walk to the Moon Empress' side, he suddenly realized that the Moon Empress' carrot-loving, miserly rabbit had a listless look. Lin Yuan immediately thought of the longevity rat. Originally, Lin Yuan was going to give the longevity rat to the Moon Empress before he left. Since his master's little rabbit was so listless, why not give the longevity rat to the Moon Empress now? It would also allow the longevity rat to play with the miserly rabbit. Therefore, after Lin Yuan arrived at the Moon Empress' side, he took out the bronze face storage box that contained the longevity rat. Master, can you see if you can form a contract with this fae? I think this fae is quite suitable for master. When the Moon Empress heard Lin Yuan's words, she was slightly startled. She had been thinking of ways to prepare faes for Lin Yuan, but she was afraid that Lin Yuan wouldn't accept them. Now, Lin Yuan was taking the initiative to give her a fae. 166 Reading Network. Chapter 1238. Looking at the diamond fae storage box that Lin Yuan handed to her, the Moon Empress, who knew her fate, could not help but feel a little dazed. As a current expert, apart from his first fae when he was young, it was that old fellow who found him. The other faes were nurtured by the Moon Empress herself through fortuitous encounters and contracts. After that old fellow, the Moon Empress didn't remember anyone else taking the initiative to look for a fae for her. It was time for him to enter the contract. However, it seemed that when that old fellow had given him his first fae, he had been the same as Lin Yuan now. He handed over a bronze fae storage box. At that time, when he had just become a spirit chi professional, he was especially interested and curious about all faes. Now that he only had 3 years of lifespan left, how could he contract a fae? If he were to contract another fae, wouldn't his new contracted little fellow be like him and only be able to live for 3 years? When Mystic Moon heard Lin Yuan's words, even though she had a lot on her mind, she didn't say anything. He was also stunned by Lin Yuan's words. In this world, apart from Lin Yuan, anyone who said such words to the Moon Empress would be disrespectful to her. Even if other eminences were to recommend faes to the Moon Empress and let her contract them, it would be considered overstepping their authority. However, Lin Yuan was the Moon Empress' only disciple, and if he were to say this, it would be the same as showing filial respect to his master. Upon seeing the smile on the Moon Empress' face, Mystic Moon instantly returned to his senses. As a Moon envoy who had accompanied the Moon Empress for over 50 years, Mystic Moon was very clear about how strong the Moon Empress' spiritual energy was. Even if the Moon Empress contracted many faes, it was still more than enough for her to contract one more fae. When thinking about the Moon Empress fae lineup, Mystic Moon truly could not think of what kind of fae the Moon Empress would need to contract. Lin Yuan had just said that the fae in the fae storage box was suitable for the Moon Empress. If the Moon Empress had more than 3 years of lifespan left, given how much she doted on Lin Yuan, she would form a contract with the fae that Lin Yuan had given her. Then, he quickly nurtured them. However, the Moon Empress, who only had 3 years of lifespan left, probably did not know what to do with her other faes. Therefore, it was impossible for the Moon Empress to contract the fae that Lin Yuan had given her. The young lord still didn't know that the Moon Empress only had 3 years of lifespan left. But what about 3 years later? Looking at the Moon Empress and Lin Yuan, Mystic Moon's eyes, which had never been red since she was born, couldn't help but turn red and sour. It was as if something was about to come out of his eyes. The Moon Empress was about to refuse when she saw the expectant expression on Lin Yuan's face. In the end, the Moon Empress didn't reject him. When the Moon Empress took the bronze face storage box from Lin Yuan, she felt a warmth in her heart that she had only felt after accepting Lin Yuan as a disciple. After receiving the bronze face storage box, the Moon Empress wanted to put it away. At that moment, the Moon Empress heard Lin Yuan speak again. "Master, I see that Zishi is a little listless. The little fellow in the bronze face storage box is about the same size as Zishi. It should be able to play with her." As he spoke, Lin Yuan prepared to rub Zishi, who was in the Moon Empress' arms. Previously, when Lin Yuan had arrived at the Radiant Moon Palace, he had secretly touched Zishi. Zishi was in a good mood because Lin Yuan was the Moon Empress' disciple and was considered one of them. Thus, Zishi did not express any clear objection to Lin Yuan's action of masturbating. He could just turn a blind eye to it. However, ever since Lin Yuan ate half of Zishi's carrot, if Lin Yuan wanted to touch Zishi again, Zishi would jump away from Lin Yuan's 10-meter radius. Occasionally, its ears would swing Lin Yuan's palm away. This made Lin Yuan a little confused. He didn't understand what was wrong with this stingy rabbit. Why did it suddenly become cold to him? Now that Lin Yuan saw Zishi's listless appearance, he felt that Zishi would not reject him touching her. In the end, when Lin Yuan stretched out his hand, Zishi jumped behind the Moon Empress. Then, she tilted her head and glared at Lin Yuan. "What playmate? Playmate? I don't need a playmate. I feel bad because Siyue only has 3 years of lifespan left. Don't talk about finding a playmate for me. Even if you spit out the carrot you ate and return it to me, I will definitely not be happy." After hearing Lin Yuan's words, the Moon Empress didn't check what was in the bronze face storage box. Instead, she used her spiritual energy to summon the longevity rat out of the bronze face storage box. However, it was just a casual summon from the Moon Empress. The Moon Empress, Mystic Moon, and Zishi all had stunned expressions on their faces. As the longevity rat had been living in the Divine Wood Federation's forest all year round, it was very afraid of strangers. The longevity rat's hair stood on end and it suddenly appeared in an unfamiliar environment. Seeing Lin Yuan at the side, the longevity rat's eyes lit up. It scuttled to Lin Yuan's body and nestled its head in Lin Yuan's neck. However, Lin Yuan didn't care about the longevity rat that was shivering on his neck. Lin Yuan felt that something was wrong. If it was just the 2 silver stamen gold luster caches at the entrance of the Radiant Moon Palace, Lin Yuan wouldn't think so much. However, Mystic Moon's hesitation and Zishi's emotions proved that something big had happened in the Radiant Moon Palace. The emotions produced by both of them could only revolve around one person, and that was his master, the Moon Empress. Could it be that something had happened to his master? While Lin Yuan was thinking, the Moon Empress was the first to recover from her daze. She couldn't remember how many years it had been since she had been stunned. As a Class 5 creation master, the Moon Empress naturally saw through the longevity rat's ability, Life End, at first glance. In the blink of an eye, this subconscious glance was too profound. From this glance, the Moon Empress saw the lingering tinder of rebirth in his helpless resignation. Now, the Moon Empress could finally stop accepting her fate. At that moment, it was as though the Moon Empress had returned to her past self from 10 years ago. At that moment, the Moon Empress' heart was throbbing with all sorts of emotions. These emotions filled the Moon Empress' heart, causing her body to tremble slightly. His emotions were like an overturned bottle of 5 flavors, and for a moment, it was hard to describe. Finally, the Moon Empress suppressed all her emotions at the bottom of her heart, leaving only a gentle smile for Lin Yuan. Just like when she knew that her fate was fixed, the Moon Empress tried her best to remain calm when she saw that her fate had changed. Ever since the Moon Empress had taken Lin Yuan in as her disciple, she had always treated him as a withered glory that could extend her life. She loved him more than her own eyeballs. The Moon Empress didn't say anything about her remaining 3 years of life. However, there was an unknown amount of unwillingness in her heart. Compared to the unwillingness to accept her death, the Moon Empress was even more unresigned that she couldn't see Lin Yuan rise to the top and look down on all the other mountains. Now, all the unwillingness had turned into hope. Her fate had changed because of Lin Yuan. Perhaps everything that happened in the unseen world was due to fate and karma in the midst of the wind and dew. Chapter 1239. If it was 10 years ago, someone would have told the Moon Empress that her life providence would change because of her disciple. The Moon Empress would definitely let him experience what it meant to be a chain of moonlight and a hook of silver chains. That was because it was complete nonsense to the Moon Empress back then. 10 years ago, the Moon Empress had never thought that she would accept a disciple one day. The Moon Empress had decided to accept him as a disciple last year. In the end, the Moon Empress set the selection conditions, and the Redbud City Lord, Ling Xiao, immediately selected a suitable candidate. In fact, let alone 10 years ago, even before Lin Yuan's arrival, the Black Dragon clan had been in the Black Dragon clan for a long time. Someone told the Moon Empress that her disciple could change her fate, but the Moon Empress didn't believe it. This was not the first time Lin Yuan had been surprised by the Moon Empress. For example, the Golden Lotus Brocade plant's high density and pure spirit chi were things that even a Class 5 creation master like the Moon Empress would have a hard time figuring out. When the Moon Empress obtained the Golden Lotus Brocade, she determined that the Golden Lotus Brocade and the Flower Brocade pearls should be of the same origin. After receiving the high concentration of pure spirit chi from Lin Yuan, the Moon Empress had used it to induce the Flower Brocade pearl. In the end, the Flower Brocade pearl's reaction was mediocre and showed no signs of transforming into a golden lotus. The Moon Empress knew that the appearance of the Golden Lotus Brocade truss had nothing to do with the high concentration of pure spirit chi. The Flower Brocade pearl must have undergone some special mutation. The appearance of the high concentration of pure spirit chi and the Golden Lotus Brocade truss proved that certain creation masters were superior to other creation masters. His disciple, Lin Yuan, had already silently walked in front of him. The Moon Empress didn't investigate how Lin Yuan had done it. She only felt proud and happy for him. However, even if Lin Yuan had such achievements as a creation master, the Moon Empress did not think that he could change his life providence. However, the longevity rat that Lin Yuan took out had truly shocked the Moon Empress. This kind of shock was on a completely different level compared to the Golden Lotus Brocade plant and the high density of spirit chi. There were all sorts of life evolutions and mutations, and even some Class 4 creation masters had mutated into extremely valuable phase. In addition, if the Moon Empress creation master standard improved, the spirit chi's purity would also increase. It could be said that the Golden Lotus Brocade plant and the high concentration of spirit chi were both within the realm of human strength. However, the lifespan rat was a spirit creature that could directly extend one's lifespan. According to the Moon Empress knowledge, such a spirit item that could increase one's lifespan shouldn't exist in this world. A contract with a small longevity mouse would basically fulfill the lifelong wish of many powerhouses. Longevity. With the help of the cicadas, the Moon Empress had already seen through some of the secrets of the path to heaven. 5 years later, the Moon Empress would have the opportunity to charge for the path of ascension. After contracting the lifespan rat, the Moon Empress was not limited to 3 years of lifespan. As the lifespan rat devoured spirit materials rich in vitality, its lifespan would be extended indefinitely. At that time, when he broke through to the next realm, he wouldn't have to worry about his lifespan anymore. After looking at the longevity rat on Lin Yuan's neck for a moment, the Moon Empress shifted her gaze to Lin Yuan. At that moment, all of the Moon Empress emotions melted into her smile at Lin Yuan. At this moment, the Moon Empress felt very blissful. The longevity rat's appearance could allow it to forever block in front of Lin Yuan and protect him on his journey on the wind. The second person to recover from the shock was Xian Yu. After recovering from the shock, Xian Yu's mouth twitched and quickly said to the Moon Empress and Lin Yuan, "Moon Empress, young lord, I will go to the kitchen to take a look." After speaking, without waiting for the Moon Empress to nod, Xian Yu turned and walked out of the inner palace. Lin Yuan was still pondering about the problem, but Xian Yu's voice interrupted his thoughts. From the start of Xian Yu's words, Lin Yuan had keenly captured the trembling in Xian Yu's voice. The last few words even had a bit of a whimper. Could Xian Yu be crying? However, Lin Yuan immediately shook his head. What Lin Yuan didn't know was that Xian Yu, who had just walked out of the inner palace's door, already had hot silver tears in her eyes. Xian Yu didn't blink, and the silver tears didn't fall from her eyes. The moment the silver tears flowed out, they were evaporated by Xian Yu's spiritual power. When Xian Yu heard about the Moon Empress situation from the cicadas, she felt as though the sky had collapsed. In the 50 years of getting along, Xian Yu never thought that she would have to part with the Moon Empress in life and death. Back in the kitchen, Xian Yu's eyes were a little warm. When she saw the Moon Empress looking at Lin Yuan in the inner palace, Xian Yu's eyes started to turn red. However, Xian Yu endured it. When she saw the longevity rat, she found out that the Moon Empress was only left with 3 years of lifespan, and the predicament was resolved. Xian Yu couldn't help but cry tears of joy. As the tears were constantly evaporating, Xian Yu didn't know how many times she had to adjust her emotions. Soon enough, the surging emotions caused Xian Yu's clear and bright face to look a little exaggerated. Xian Yu's mouth was almost at her ears, revealing a mouthful of teeth. Silver patterns faintly appeared on her teeth, and they looked like they were about to turn into dragon teeth. At that moment, Xian Yu's emotions were so overwhelming that she couldn't control herself. Her tearful expression made Xian Yu, who had an outstanding appearance, look a little ugly. However, the grief of knowing that the Moon Empress only had 3 years of lifespan couldn't be erased in a short period of time. Therefore, Xian Yu's expression lasted until she walked to the kitchen before she recovered. After her expression recovered, Xian Yu was already able to control the joy in her heart. She looked at the stew of island whale brain oil, jade peck blood swallow's nest, and other ingredients in the kitchen. Xian Yu carefully and seriously cooked them. Previously, when Xian Yu was handling these ingredients, her heart was in pain, and she resisted cooking from the bottom of her heart. Xian Yu knew that the cooking of these ingredients was to allow Lin Yuan to better absorb the geocentric jade milk. But now, Xian Yu was very happy and even grateful while cooking. Looking at the dishes being cooked, Xian Yu chuckled and opened up her chest. Immediately after, Xian Yu's body was like colored glass, and a drop of silver blood with a hint of gold condensed on her chest. Xian Yu placed this drop of blood into the stew of island whale brain oil. Island whale brain oil was extremely nourishing and protective towards the soul. Island whale brain oil was a dish that Lin Yuan had to eat if he wanted to absorb the geocentric jade milk. The Moon Empress didn't like to eat fish, and the island whale brain oil had the smell of aquatic phase. Therefore, when the Moon Empress was eating, she wouldn't touch the island whale brain oil. If the Moon Empress found out that Lin Yuan had added the condensed essence blood from the dragon heart into the dishes, she would definitely blame Lin Yuan. The higher the bloodline of a dragon species Fae, the harder it was to condense essence blood. A gold dragon species Fae could easily condense 200 to 300 drops of essence blood. However, when a dragon species Fae evolved into a myth breed, it was already not bad to condense a dozen drops of essence blood. At Xian Yu's level, she could only condense 3 drops of essence blood at most. Chapter 1240. The loss of dragon species Fae's essence blood was extremely damaging to the body. But at the same time, the essence blood of dragon species Fae's was the best enhancer for spiritual ingredients. It could greatly enhance the island whale brain oil's protection effect on the soul. Mystic Moon was a spirit soul dual-type dragon species Fae, so its essence blood had the effect of protecting the spirit and soul. Dragon species Faes had always cherished their essence blood, just like how a mother cherished her child. Mystic Moon's behavior was Mystic Moon using its own method to thank Lin Yuan. Previously, Mystic Moon had always felt that the Radiant Moon Palace was shielding Lin Yuan from the wind and rain. Now, it was better to say that Lin Yuan had reconstructed the Radiant Moon Palace. At that moment, Lin Yuan, who was in the Radiant Moon Palace, was dumbfounded as he looked at Zishi, who had just ignored him. Lin Yuan really couldn't figure out what this stingy rabbit was up to. She didn't even let him touch her earlier, but now, she was using her 2 long ears to hold his palm. She took the initiative to put his palm on her body. What was going on? Was she inviting him to masturbate her? Thus, Lin Yuan tentatively touched Zishi's body. Lin Yuan was really afraid that Zishi was fishing, so he reached out to touch her. The ears slapped the back of his hand. When Lin Yuan was done, he realized that Zishi had kicked her legs and was lying flat on the table. She took the initiative to reveal the soft belly hair. The Moon Empress couldn't stand it anymore and hugged Zishi. Zishi could transform into a human form. Compared to a human form, Zishi felt more comfortable in her beast form and could eat carrots more conveniently. Thus, Zishi would never transform into a human form when not in combat. However, it was undeniable that Zishi was a female rabbit. The Moon Empress couldn't bear to see Zishi lying flat. Lin Yuan originally had something to ask the Moon Empress, but just as he was about to ask, Lin Yuan realized that the Moon Empress' temperament had changed. The Moon Empress' eyes were clearly a little more than when he had just entered. Looking at his master's temperament, there was now 30% arrogance and 70% hope. Lin Yuan felt that he didn't need to ask. Thus, Lin Yuan hugged the longevity rat on his neck and changed the topic. Master, this longevity rat has a small drawback. If Master wants to form a contract, you must not expose the longevity rat to people who don't trust it. Upon hearing his words, the Moon Empress flipped her hand. A fruit rich in vital aura appeared in the Moon Empress' hand. During this time, Lin Yuan had only fed the longevity rat soldiers rations. The army grain radish leaf contained the energy to sustain life, but its vitality was pitifully little. Because of this, the lifespan of the longevity rats was not as fast as that of the longevity rats. The lifespan of a fae like the longevity rat was only 1 year. According to the fae's instincts, the longevity rat would frantically search for spiritual ingredients rich in vitality energy in order to survive. To the longevity mouse, the fruit that the Moon Empress had taken out was the most life-force treasure that the longevity mouse had ever seen. However, due to the longevity rat's cautious nature, it didn't immediately charge forward. The longevity rat squeaked on Lin Yuan's palm while moving in small steps. It seemed to be saying, "I really want to eat that fruit. Can you please bring it over to me?" Sob, sob, sob. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan smiled and said to the longevity rat, "When you become Master's spirit creature, you'll have as many of these spirit materials as you want." After saying that, Lin Yuan touched the longevity rat's orange fur and continued speaking. "Little guy, hurry up and go over." The lifespan rat stared at the young man who saved it in the forest and helped it evolve. The longevity rat gently raised its small paw and shook it at Lin Yuan. It then squeaked a few times at Lin Yuan, but no one knew what it was saying. Then, the longevity element rat scuttled into the Moon Empress' palm. The Moon Empress immediately used her spiritual energy to contract the longevity rat. Then, he handed the myth breed blue life jade pear in his hand to the lifespan rat. The longevity element rat immediately grabbed the blue life jade pear's fruit and ate it. After the lifespan mouse ate the blue life jade pear, its lifespan slowly increased. The blue life jade pear increased the longevity mouse's lifespan from 1 year to 2.5 years. In other words, a myth breed blue life jade pear could allow the longevity rat to live for over 500 days. This kind of consumption was undoubtedly huge for ordinary forces and experts. In fact, some factions might not even be able to earn a myth breed blue life jade pear in a year. However, such consumption was nothing to the Moon Empress with her resources. The increase in lifespan made the Moon Empress smile even more intensely. The Moon Empress flipped her hand again, and a basket filled with blue life jade pears was placed on the ground. When the longevity rat saw this, it wanted to dive into the basket full of blue life pears and eat them. The Moon Empress quickly grabbed the longevity rat out of the basket and said, "Little guy, you need to digest it before you can continue eating. Otherwise, if you eat another blue life jade pear, your stomach will burst. Otherwise, if you eat another blue life jade pear, your stomach will burst." The longevity rat shyly rubbed its small head against the Moon Empress' palm. After signing the pill contract with the Moon Empress, the longevity rat instinctively felt intimate with her. Looking at the longevity rat's bulging stomach, Lin Yuan smiled gently. When this little guy ate the soldier ration radish leaf stem, it was very gluttonous. It was unknown when it could change this gluttonous habit. Fortunately, as a rodent species Fae, this little guy's metabolism was very fast. It was not a problem to eat 3 to 4 myth-breed blue life jade pears a day. After the longevity rat had its fill, it looked at Zishi in the Moon Empress arms and wanted to jump onto Zishi's body. If it was any other Fae that wanted to touch it, Zishi would probably slap it away with one ear. However, Zishi did not do so for the longevity rat. One reason was that Zishi was afraid that her ear would kill the longevity rat that could only maintain at normal grade 1 normal grade. Secondly, the longevity rat was equivalent to the Moon Empress lifespan battery. Just now, Zishi was very worried about the Moon Empress lifespan of only 3 years. Now, it cherished the longevity rat very much. Zishi allowed the lifespan rat to jump around on her back and even used her ears to protect it. It was afraid that the longevity rat would slip off its back and fall to the ground. When Zishi was around, the Moon Empress other Faes, such as the sun-swallowing calamity fox, would not even dare to make a sound. When Zishi was around, the sun-swallowing calamity fox did not even dare to make a sound. Now, Zishi was protecting the longevity rat as though it was protecting a baby. In fact, it was not only Zishi. The Moon Empress other Faes that were not summoned also had an instinctive good impression of the longevity rat. The longevity rat, which was foolishly playing on Zishi's back, did not know that it had become the Moon Empress contracted Fae. In the Fae world, this identity was probably comparable to Lin Yuan's identity in the Radiance Federation. Chapter 1241. The Moon Empress looked down at the longevity rat playing with Zishi for a moment before looking up at Lin Yuan. Little Yuan, have you heard of our Radiance's unique desolation bloodline Fae? Upon hearing the Moon Empress words, Lin Yuan suddenly thought of the time when everyone had a meal together in Zhongzai's residence in Copper Crane Alley. Zhongzai and Gu Lang had mentioned a desolate bloodline Fae. When Zhongzai and Gu Lang mentioned the desolate bloodline Fae, Long Tao, Zhongzai, and Sun Ningxiang looked at Gao Feng, Lu Jia, and themselves with envy. That was the first time Lin Yuan had heard of the term desolate bloodline. From Zhongzai's words, Lin Yuan knew that Zhongzai's main Fae, the heaven-burning roar, possessed the desolate bloodline. Moreover, the heaven-burning host desolate bloodline had yet to fully mature. Lin Yuan remembered that Zhongzai originally wanted to talk more about his burning sky ram. But then Zhongzai glanced at Gao Feng, Long Tao, and Sun Ningxiang and did not continue. Zhongzai's actions let Lin Yuan know that Zhongzai did not want Long Tao, Gao Feng, and Sun Ningxiang to understand more about the heaven-burning Ho or the desolation bloodline Fae. However, Gao Feng and Zhongzai had no intention of hiding anything from him. But in the end, Zhongzai didn't mention the desolate bloodline again. When Zhongzai mentioned the desolate bloodline, Gu Lang spoke to Long Tao. If you work hard, you will also have a chance to obtain the bloodline of famine. From the information revealed by Zhongzai and Gu Lang, Lin Yuan only had a smattering of knowledge regarding the desolate bloodline. Lin Yuan shook his head at the Moon Empress. Master, I don't know much about the famine bloodline. I only know that Zhongzai's heaven-burning Ho has the famine bloodline. The Moon Empress replied. I originally planned to tell you about the desolation bloodline before you participate in the Radiance Envoy selection at the age of 20. Today, I happened to obtain a drop of geocentric immortal milk. With this drop of geocentric jade milk, Little Yuan, you can form a contract with a desolate bloodline Fae now. Upon hearing the Moon Empress words, Lin Yuan knew that Faes with the desolation bloodline had an age requirement. Treasures like the geocentric immortal milk could cleanse the body of impurities and once again optimize the genes. Tempering one's body, soul, and mental strength would allow one's life to be reborn. It also meant that the spirit chi professional's body, mind, and soul had extremely high requirements for the spirit chi professional's body, mind, and soul. It was just like how the soul of a person under the age of 18 was not enough to form a sacred source life form. However, according to the Moon Empress words, Lin Yuan still did not know what was going on with the Desolation Bloodline Fae. However, in the previous duel with Zhong Zhe in the civil and martial duels, he had deeply witnessed the heaven-burning roar's power. It could be said that the reincarnated flame beast and Zhong Zhe's sacred source life form, the heaven's blazing flame, could display such power. It had an indispensable relationship with the heaven-burning Ho. If not for the burning sky Ho's amplification of the fire elemental energy and the use of the exclusive skill, Fire Fantasy Town, he wouldn't have been able to summon the burning sky Ho. Zhong Zhe's overall strength would be weakened by at least 20%. At the same time, as a Diamond X/Fantasy V Fae, the sky-burning centipede had 8 high-grade exceptional flames in its body, which truly shocked Lin Yuan. After the fusion of 8 high-grade mysterious flames, its might could already reach the standard of a peak-grade mysterious flame. The power of a top-notch heavenly flame was far beyond the control of ordinary fantasy breed Faes. At that time, Lin Yuan had been secretly shocked by the sky-burning centipede's talent and bloodline. In terms of the Fae's individual strength and function, Zhong Zhe's sky-burning centipede definitely surpassed any of Lin Yuan's existing Faes. Lin Yuan's Faes had always evolved in the most optimal way. Now, Lin Yuan finally understood that it was because Zhong Zhe's sky-burning centipede had the Desolation bloodline. Just as Lin Yuan was about to ask the Moon Empress how to obtain the Desolation bloodline Fae, the Moon Empress spoke first. Little Yuan, in another month, the Azure Federation's envoys will arrive at our Radiance Federation to observe the Radiance 100 sequence selection. At that time, the 4th Azure Envoy will be coming along. The 4th Azure Envoy is from the Azure Cloud Leopard family, one of the 12 Azure families. The Azure Cloud Leopard bloodline is the Azure Federation's unique Azure bloodline. Our Radiance Federation's corresponding Desolation bloodline is our Radiance Federation's unique Desolation bloodline. Zhong Zhe's sky-burning centipede is the same as Master Zishi. They both have the Desolation bloodline. In the Radiance Federation, there is only one way for the older generation to obtain Faes with the Desolation bloodline. That is to become the Radiance Federation's Majesty. As for the younger generation, it is easier to obtain Faes with the Desolation bloodline than the older generation. There are a total of 3 ways. The first is to become the Majesty's disciple before the age of 30. The second is to become a Radiance Envoy. The third is to become a member of the Radiant Light Knights. The Moon Empress words made Lin Yuan dumbfounded. Previously, Lin Yuan only had a concept of Faes with the Desolation bloodline. Now, Lin Yuan deeply understood the value of Faes with the Desolation bloodline. Based on Lin's memories, Lin Yuan knew what the 12 Azure families meant to the Azure Federation. The Azure family's weight in the Azure Federation was completely different from the top faction's status in the Radiance Federation. It was the 3 top factions Rhine Life Form, Whale Ocean Trade, and Brahma Insect Cage added together. They could not compare to any of the Azure family's status in the Azure Federation. There was no majesty in the Azure Federation's Azure Imperial Court. The family head of each of the 12 Azure families was actually equivalent to the Radiance Federation's majesty. In the Azure Parliament organized by the Azure Imperial Court, they had a seat with a lot of authority. All of this was because the members of the Azure family possessed the Azure Beast pattern and could perfectly contract Faes with the Azure bloodline. This showed how powerful the Azure bloodline Faes were. Similarly, Faes with the Desolation bloodline could be compared to Faes with the Azure bloodline. This meant that Faes with the Desolation bloodline would definitely be comparable to Faes with the Azure bloodline in terms of combat power. Furthermore, according to the conditions for obtaining Faes with the Desolation bloodline, there might be more types of Faes with the Desolation bloodline than Faes with the Azure bloodline. However, there were definitely fewer Faes with the Azure bloodline than with the Azure bloodline. This was because every Spirit Chi professional in the Azure family who awakened the Azure Beast pattern would immediately obtain an Azure bloodline Fae on the same day they awakened the Azure Beast pattern. According to the Moon Empress, it seemed that he would be able to obtain a Fae with the Desolation bloodline after consuming the geocentric jade milk. Lin Yuan immediately looked forward to it. However, while he was looking forward to it, Lin Yuan suddenly worried about his spiritual energy. Fays with the Desolation bloodline were so powerful and simply weren't suitable for Morbius' spirit lock. If he were to use spirit lock on Fays with the Desolation bloodline, it would truly be a waste of resources. End of this chapter. Chapter 1242. However, if contracting a Fae with the Desolate bloodline required a massive amount of spiritual energy, most of his spiritual energy had been consumed during the contract with Morbius. The rest could only form a contract with a normal Fae. If he wanted to form a contract with a Desolate bloodline Fae, the spiritual energy requirement would be higher than ordinary Faes. In that case, it was very likely that he would not be able to form a contract. Lin Yuan asked the Moon Empress. Master, are there any conditions for contracting a Desolate bloodline Fae? I don't have much mental power left. The Moon Empress knew of Black's identity and naturally knew that Lin Yuan had contracted many Faes. The Moon Empress was not surprised that Lin Yuan did not have much spiritual energy left. In the Moon Empress' opinion, for Lin Yuan to be able to contract so many Faes at this age, he had already left his peers far behind. The Moon Empress looked at Lin Yuan's somewhat worried expression and explained very seriously. A person can only form a contract with a Desolate bloodline Fae in their lifetime. Unlike sacred source lifeforms, some people with stronger souls can form 2 contracts. A Fae with the Desolate bloodline will be completely bound to a person after the contract. When a Fae with the Desolate bloodline grows, a certain amount of bloodline power will be fed back to the contractor. It allows the contractor to possess a certain amount of the Desolate bloodline, thereby greatly increasing the contractor's physical strength. Little Yuan, you don't have to worry. Forming a contract with a Desolate bloodline Fae will consume some of your spiritual energy. But it doesn't consume much of my mental strength. The key is still my physique and soul strength. Dinner might be painful for you, but you have to eat as much as you can. This will allow you to better absorb the energy within the geocentric immortal milk when you take it, and also make you feel more relaxed. As the Moon Empress and Lin Yuan were conversing, Mystic Moon had already brought the spirit attendants to the inner palace to serve the dishes. At this moment, Jin Qi was holding the jade-pecking blood swallow's bird's nest. The fragrance of the blood-pecking jade swallow's nest wafted into Jin Qi's nose, making her blood boil. Jin Qi didn't dare to imagine eating the jade-pecking blood swallow's nest if it had such an effect just by smelling it. To what extent would the blood qi in his body grow? Jin Qi had previously thought of seducing Lin Yuan to raise her status in the Radiant Moon Palace. However, when Jin Qi saw Lin Yuan pondering beside the Moon Empress, she understood that she could only look up to this youth who was younger than her. Thinking of this, Jin Qi could not help but feel envious of Wen Yu again. At the same time, Jin Qi felt that Wen Yu was extremely stupid. As the saying went, the pavilion closest to the water enjoys moonlight first. Wen Yu stayed by Lin Yuan's side all day long. However, she had never been able to obtain Lin Yuan. If Lin Yuan had chosen him back then, he might still be pregnant and being served by other spirit attendants. Of course, Jin Qi only dared to think about these things in her heart. If she revealed it, Jin Qi was afraid that she would be directly sent to the Pond of Sin by the mysterious moon envoy. Under the weeping willow tree, he endured the punishment while reflecting on his mistakes. Lin Yuan also saw the spirit attendants bringing in the dishes. While looking, Lin Yuan subconsciously used Morbius' true data. Lin Yuan's jaw dropped when he saw it. This is too exaggerated. Lin Yuan had always felt that his spirit lock spatial zone would produce heavenly maiden-grade elemental pearls every minute, and he was already very wealthy. But now, he calculated all his wealth and could only barely afford one portion of island whale brain oil. While thinking about it, Lin Yuan suddenly realized that something was wrong. The island whale brain oil in the dishes was dark gold in color, and it was different from ordinary island whale brain oil. The island whale that produced this island whale brain oil should be at least 600 years old. Of course, this was just a conservative estimate. Otherwise, the island whale brain oil would not be of such quality. At the thought of this, Lin Yuan swallowed his saliva. It seemed like his wealth could not even afford this portion of island whale brain oil. Lin Yuan suddenly had a thought that he was very poor. In fact, there were plenty of spiritual ingredients in the dishes that Lin Yuan could not find out with true data. This meant that some of the spiritual ingredients came from undying fays. Lin Yuan, who was never frugal when it came to food, sighed in his heart more than once. Too extravagant. But when it was time to eat, Lin Yuan realized that extravagance did not mean enjoyment. This meal was truly torturous for Lin Yuan. The Moon Empress scooped a bowl of jade-pecking blood swallow's nest for Lin Yuan. When Lin Yuan drank it, he tasted a natural and sweet taste. The soft gelatinous texture slid from the tip of his tongue into his esophagus. This feeling was like kissing the softest lips. Of course, Lin Yuan had never felt such a feeling before. However, after the second mouthful, Lin Yuan was no longer in the mood to savor the taste and texture of the jade-pecking blood swallow's nest. Lin Yuan felt that his body had become a giant furnace. His blood was boiling and clamoring, making Lin Yuan feel that his blood flow was at least 3 times faster. As his blood flowed rapidly, Lin Yuan's heartbeat was like the beating of a war drum. At the same time, Lin Yuan's forehead rapidly seeped out a large amount of sweat. Upon seeing the situation, the Moon Empress said with some heartache, "Little Yuan, how about this? Little Yuan, how about this? After you finish eating this bowl of bird's nest, immediately swallow the entire portion of island whale brain oil. Then, try your best to eat other dishes and eat as much as you can. The more you eat, the better it will be for you. You must bring out your willpower at this time." Upon hearing the Moon Empress' words, Lin Yuan took a deep breath and drank the jade-pecking blood swallow's nest as quickly as possible. Then, he hugged the golden-threaded jade basin that contained the island whale brain oil and quickly finished it. Due to Lin Yuan eating too quickly, the food's decomposition speed in his stomach could not keep up with his eating speed. When Lin Yuan was almost done with the island whale brain oil, the jade-pecking blood swallow's nest's power was completely unleashed. The fast-flowing blood caused Lin Yuan's blood vessels to bulge out of the surface of his body. The rapid flow of blood gave Lin Yuan an indescribable sense of excitement in his heart. This also greatly sped up Lin Yuan's eating speed. When Lin Yuan finished drinking the island whale brain oil and picked up the other dishes, he felt as though his soul was suddenly stuffed into a sea. The surging feeling caused Lin Yuan's body to constantly tremble. At this moment, Lin Yuan felt that he really could not persevere anymore. At that moment, Lin Yuan recalled Morbius' Calm Mind. Calm Mind was a passive skill. However, when activated actively, Calm Mind's effects would increase. Lin Yuan repeatedly used Calm Mind on himself and forcefully endured the discomfort as he swept through the other dishes on the table. While Lin Yuan was stuffing himself with food, the Moon Empress' gaze landed on Mystic Moon when Lin Yuan picked up the island whale brain oil. Mystic Moon looked at the Moon Empress and shrunk his neck. "Moon Empress, I'm doing this for the young lord's own good." End of chapter. Chapter 1243. The Moon Empress sighed and replied, "When little Yuan finishes consuming the geocentric jade milk, I'll ask him if there's any more pure spiritual qi." The feeling of being suppressed by the cicadas and rendered immobile must be very uncomfortable. With the pure spirit qi, your bloodline should be able to improve further, Xianyue. Now that your bloodline has been upgraded, you will definitely be able to cross that hurdle. After speaking to Mystic Moon, the Moon Empress realized that Lin Yuan had eaten the last dish on the table. The Moon Empress was secretly shocked by Lin Yuan's willpower. Seeing that Lin Yuan was about to finish the last dish, the Moon Empress said to Mystic Moon, "Xianyu, now is the time. Take out the geocentric jade milk for little Yuan to consume." If not for the lifespan rat, Mystic Moon would have hesitated when he heard the Moon Empress command. But right now, Mystic Moon was extremely willing to let Lin Yuan consume the geocentric jade milk. After Lin Yuan swallowed the last mouthful, Mystic Moon's hand, which was holding the blazing yellow wooden box, trembled. A seemingly ordinary milky white liquid flew into Lin Yuan's mouth. The moment he took a sip of the milky white liquid, he felt that the restlessness in his body was completely suppressed. If it wasn't for the fact that this drop of milky white liquid was very sticky in his mouth, he wouldn't have swallowed it completely. Lin Yuan was probably already complaining. Fuck. The geocentric jade milk was actually so disgusting. There was a hint of saltiness in the fishy smell, and a hint of bitter apricot. Just as Lin Yuan swallowed the geocentric jade milk with great difficulty and lamented that he finally didn't have to experience his blood boiling and his soul swelling, Lin Yuan finally experienced what true pain was. The first time he had used the diamond silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar to cleanse his body of impurities, he had experienced the agony of being dismembered. After consuming the suzerain silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar, his soul experienced the pain of being crushed and squeezed. At that time, Lin Yuan had thought that the pain in his body and soul was already the limit of pain in the world. Compared to the pain he was suffering now, the pain from consuming the diamond and suzerain silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar was child's play. Lin Yuan felt that if he cut a hole in his body would immediately burst like a balloon. Fast-flowing blood would splatter out of the wound. At that moment, the blood in Lin Yuan's body drilled out of his blood vessels due to the overbearing medicinal power rising from his stomach. The pain of the blood forcefully drilling into his body made him feel as though he had become a big mulberry. At the center of the mulberry was a nest of eggs that had just hatched. During the incubation process, the eggs were eating away at the mulberry from the inside out. Previously, when he had consumed the suzerain silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar, the physical pain could even slow down his soul. A sluggish soul would weaken his perception of pain. Right now, under the effects of the island whale brain oil and some unknown spirit materials, his soul had already entered a hyperactive state. This state greatly increased his perception of physical pain. Moreover, the tyrannical medicinal power of the geocentric jade milk not only affected the body, but also the soul. This medicinal power was beneficial to his soul. Lin Yuan's soul could rely on this potion to strengthen itself. However, the medicinal potency was simply too massive. While absorbing it, his soul was almost shattered by the impact of the medicinal potency. Moreover, Lin Yuan's two souls were also affected. This caused Lin Yuan to suffer double the pain on the soul level compared to others. Lin Yuan could not bear either of the two kinds of pain, but they were mixed together. It allowed Lin Yuan's physical and soul pain to reach an ingenious balance. Even if Lin Yuan wanted to faint, Elder 100 could not do it. At that moment, every second was magnified tens of thousands of times in Lin Yuan's eyes. The activity of Lin Yuan's soul allowed him to clearly feel every trace of change in his body. Lin Yuan tried to use Morbius' calm mind on himself again. However, the two kinds of pain made Lin Yuan unable to make any instructions to his body. Lin Yuan could only check the situation in his body, but the Moon Empress and Mystic Moon could clearly see the changes on the surface of his body. Lin Yuan was now completely covered in blood. Due to the medicinal power of the jade-pecking blood swallow's nest, blood was constantly being produced. The blood that was constantly gushing out formed a thick layer of scab on the surface of Lin Yuan's body, completely sealing him in the scab. It made Lin Yuan look like a cocoon waiting to metamorphose. Upon seeing Lin Yuan's appearance, the Moon Empress clenched her fists tightly with a distressed expression on her face. It was the same for Mystic Moon. However, when she saw the Moon Empress expression, Mystic Moon quickly consoled her. Moon Empress, even if His Highness does not consume those spiritual ingredients to assist in absorbing the geocentric jade milk, there will not be any problem for him to endure the geocentric jade milk's medicinal effect. Moreover, His Highness has already consumed all of those spiritual ingredients. Don't worry, His Highness will not have any problem. When the Moon Empress heard Mystic Moon's words, her brows knitted even tighter. How could the Moon Empress not know that consuming the geocentric jade milk would only bring benefits to Lin Yuan? However, knowing was one thing. As a master, when she saw her disciples suffering such pain, she would still feel terrible. Right now, Lin Yuan was going through a process of gene optimization and being reborn. This process was something that the Moon Empress could not help even if she wanted to. If she recklessly used some methods to reduce Lin Yuan's pain, it might cause Lin Yuan's metamorphosis to be interrupted. It would be the same as personally cutting off Lin Yuan's fortuitous opportunity. However, when the Moon Empress recalled that Lin Yuan had eaten the entire table of dishes, her brows relaxed. After calculating the time, the ingredients of the dishes should have been completely stimulated by the geocentric jade milk's medicinal effect and had been digested and absorbed by Lin Yuan's body. At this moment, Lin Yuan was already numb from the intense pain in his soul and body. The numb Lin Yuan suddenly felt that his stomach was starting to rapidly spread the energy ingredients to all parts of his body. These energy ingredients might be increasing the pain that Lin Yuan was enduring, but at this moment, every energy ingredient was like a divine weapon descending from the heavens. They were protecting Lin Yuan's body and soul, which were on the verge of shattering due to the geocentric jade milk's energy. At the same time, these energy ingredients were also accelerating Lin Yuan's digestion and absorption of the geocentric jade milk. During the digestion and absorption process, these energies were also absorbed into Lin Yuan's body. Lin Yuan could only helplessly endure it. A few short minutes in the outside world made Lin Yuan's soul world feel as though a few centuries had passed. During this process, Lin Yuan broke down thousands of times. He sank into depravity thousands of times. He comforted himself thousands of times. He found hope thousands of times. Finally, Lin Yuan had slowly gotten used to this intense pain in his soul and body. Chapter 1244. At that moment, Lin Yuan would no longer break down. He would only feel happy about the changes in his body. To look forward to a better future. Amidst the torturous pain, Lin Yuan's mental state had unknowingly undergone a qualitative leap. As the saying goes, young people's worries should be taken to the clouds, who would think of the cold sitting and crying. However, Lin Yuan's ambition was already above the sky, and it was very difficult for anything to change it. Unless Lin Yuan had to endure more pain than this. Suddenly, a wisp of spiritual qi brewed in Lin Yuan's heart. Previously, when he had used spirit qi to enhance genius and the longevity rat, they had shed their fur time and time again. The current Lin Yuan was not much different from genius and the longevity rat. However, Lin Yuan did not change his hair but all the cells in his body. As Lin Yuan's cells were constantly being born and dying, his body was being reconstructed over and over again. He could no longer remember how many times his body had been reshaped. Marrow, bones, blood, muscles, nerves, nails, hair. Every part of Lin Yuan's body was being remolded, experiencing the creator's meticulous carving. After Lin Yuan's body reassembled for the last time and no longer changed, Lin Yuan's eyes widened. A wave of spiritual and pure aura that belonged to living beings seeped out of the cocoon formed by the blood scabs and floated in the radiant moon palace. The dozens of lotus fays in the radiant moon palace's lotus pond kept swaying their petals and spitting out multicolored mist. The butterfly tail spirit siphon goldfish whose bloodline had transformed also extended its butterfly wing-like fins and tail as it leaped out of the water. It was as if there was something outside the lotus pond that was attracting the butterfly tail spirit siphon goldfish. At that moment, Lin Yuan, who was inside the blood scab, had completely transformed. Just as he was about to use his hand to break the scab, he keenly realized that his clothes had become unrecognizable due to the transformation just now. Thus, he quickly took out a set of black spirit chi clothes and changed into them. After changing into the spirit chi clothes, Lin Yuan checked himself again. When he didn't find anything abnormal, he broke off the scab and walked out. Mystic Moon and Moon Empress had seen countless proud sons of heaven. But now that they saw Lin Yuan again, they couldn't help but be amazed. Although Lin Yuan's current appearance didn't look any different from before, it was different from before. However, her facial features had become even more refined than before. The changes in his facial features had improved Lin Yuan's original appearance by a huge margin. It had reached the standard of more than 90 points. When a person's appearance was above 90 points, it could be regarded as the pinnacle of attractiveness. If many top-notch beauties were to be compared, the results of each person's evaluation would be very different. After all, to each his or her own taste. However, Lin Yuan had never relied on his appearance but his temperament. Lin Yuan's aura had improved his looks from over 80 points to over 90 points, which was enough to show how outstanding his aura was. Now that Lin Yuan's temperament had brought along his 90-plus points of appearance, it gave Lin Yuan an indescribable sense of nobility. During these 8 months, Lin Yuan had constantly increased his knowledge and strength. Not only did the resources in his hands grow larger and larger, but he also established his own forces. These experiences, coupled with the affluence of food and clothing, and the change in his social status, gave Lin Yuan a kind of noble aura. However, Lin Yuan's current noble aura was different from this noble aura that relied on status, wealth, and experience. Lin Yuan's noble aura was not conspicuous, but it could not be ignored. It was just like how an apostle was a grade higher than a dimensional life form. At the same time, Lin Yuan's figure and bone form had also undergone certain changes during the metamorphosis. Previously, Lin Yuan had grown from 1.78 meters to 1.79 meters, and he had been looking forward to growing to 1.80 meters. Now, Lin Yuan's dream had been realized. Lin Yuan's current height had reached 1.82 meters. Lin Yuan was very clear about his growth. The clothes that Wen Yu had designed for Lin Yuan perfectly matched his current figure and size. Lin Yuan's current height was 1.82 meters, and he had only grown over 2 centimeters taller. The black spirit chi clothes that Lin Yuan was wearing were obviously a little tight and did not fit him as well. Due to a person's different lifestyle and eating habits, their bone form would change little by little over time. For example, if a person sat for a long time, their back would naturally arch. If a person lay down and slept, the back of their head would become flatter and flatter. If a person always used his teeth to bite hard objects, then this person would as his masseter muscle increased in size at the same time. The structure of the mandible will also become more robust. All of these might not seem obvious, but they could subtly change a person's appearance and temperament. After Lin Yuan's bone form had been reborn, it had been set at the most optimal position in his genetic model. Even if Lin Yuan's acquired habits were bad, his body could automatically restore his bone form after the metamorphosis. Lin Yuan was about to greet his master, the Moon Empress, and Mystic Moon. At that moment, Lin Yuan's stomach growled. When he heard his stomach growling, he subconsciously covered it with his hand. However, Lin Yuan's stomach kept grumbling. At the same time, he instinctively felt an extreme hunger. It was as though all the cells in his body were begging him to eat quickly. He hurriedly took out a soldier grain radish's vine and prepared to eat its leaves. The Moon Empress said, "Little Yuan, don't eat the soldier rations yet. Right now, your body's cells are urging you to absorb nutrients, which means that the nutrients in the dishes you just ate aren't enough. If you consume some high-grade ingredients at this time, you can also borrow the geocentric jade milk's east wind to let your body absorb some of the nutritional energy in the high-grade ingredients." Just as the Moon Empress finished speaking, Mystic Moon forcefully suppressed the shock in his heart and replied, "I'll go to the kitchen to prepare now and try to serve the dishes to His Highness within half an hour." After that, Xian Yu walked quickly towards the kitchen. At the same time, he had the spirit servants waiting outside the rear hall come in and clean up the table. Mystic Moon, who had gone to the kitchen to prepare the ingredients, couldn't understand how Lin Yuan's body could absorb so much nutrients and energy. When the Moon Empress was preparing the ingredients, she had already prepared a lot more. Furthermore, a drop of his own blood essence was added into the mix. After thinking for a long time, Xian Yu still had no clue. However, based on the changes in Lin Yuan's body just now, Mystic Moon felt that there was really nothing more that could be strengthened. The reason why his body would enter a state of hunger should be that his soul still needed to replenish nutrients. Thus, Xian Yu took out another portion of island whale brain oil, as well as some island whale brain oil of similar levels. The ingredients that could nourish the soul were carefully cooked. Chapter 1245. Lin Yuan, who was sitting beside the Moon Empress, had his stomach growling non-stop until he was a little embarrassed. Upon seeing this, the Moon Empress wanted to find a way to distract him. Otherwise, his body would be in a constant state of hunger, which was tantamount to torture. This feeling was 10 times stronger than normal hunger. The Moon Empress flipped her hand, and a golden egg appeared in her hand. The Moon Empress asked Lin Yuan in a very serious tone. "Little Yuan, I showed you a book called Mountain Sea Catalog before. Have you finished the book now?" Upon hearing the Moon Empress' words, Lin Yuan hurriedly nodded. "I've already finished reading the Mountain Sea Catalog that Master told me to read." Lin Yuan had always had the habit of reading. Therefore, he only took 2 to 3 days to flip through the books that the Moon Empress had asked him to read. However, Lin Yuan could not make head or tail of this Mountain Sea Catalog. He did not know why his master, the Moon Empress, had made him read such mythological books before the spirit chi awakening for no reason. The Mountain Sea Catalog was similar to the classic of mountains and seas that he had read in his previous life. However, the Mountain Sea Catalog was much more realistic than the Mountain Sea Scripture. Of course, no matter how realistic these books were, they were still too unbelievable. Lin Yuan answered the Moon Empress' question while looking at the pure golden egg in her hand. The eggshell of this egg was engraved with the pattern of a storm, and the pattern of the storm was rotating and rising on the eggshell. It was as if the eggshell was the eye of the storm. The patterns of the storm gave the eggshell a feeling of alternating light and dark. It was as if there was a ferocious bird riding the storm and hiding in the abyss of the storm, staring at the man. In addition, the golden egg exuded an aura similar to Zhongzai's burning sky roar. Presumably, this golden eggshell was breeding a spiritual creature with the bloodline of famine. The desolation bloodline fey in this golden eggshell was very likely the one that the Moon Empress had prepared for him. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's answer, the Moon Empress didn't keep him in suspense and replied with a smile. "There's an article in the Mountain and Sea Catalog that says that there's a bird called Golden Wing that doesn't eat anything other than the lungs of a dragon and doesn't drink anything other than the blood of a phoenix. Do you still have any impression of this introduction about the Golden Wing?" Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan looked at the golden eggshell and swallowed his saliva before nodding. "Of course I remember. Master, could the desolate bloodline fey in this golden egg be the Golden Wing?" When he had been reading the Mountain Sea Catalog, he had flipped through a few pages before reaching the Golden Wing. Lin Yuan had a deep impression of the Golden Wing's introduction. This was because he did not treat the Mountain Sea Catalog as a real knowledge book and treated it as supernatural literature. Therefore, Lin Yuan's thoughts were not serious. Lin Yuan's first impression of the golden-winged bird was that it was picky. Only the lungs of a dragon. Only the blood of a phoenix would be drunk. The golden-winged bird was probably daydreaming. Among fays, as long as they had a trace of the dragon-type or phoenix-type bloodline, their price would be far higher than ordinary fays. Those fays that had awakened the dragon-type and phoenix-type bloodlines might not be able to be bought even if one had the money. These fays that had awakened a trace of dragon species and phoenix species bloodlines were not real dragons and phoenixes. Lin Yuan suspected that the golden-winged bird recorded in the Mountain Sea Catalog had starved to death because it was picky. However, this golden egg told Lin Yuan that the fays in the Mountain Sea Catalog were real. These fays should be the Radiance Federation's unique desolate bloodline fays. This made Lin Yuan's impression of the golden-winged bird that would not eat anything other than the lungs of a dragon or the blood of a phoenix. How powerful would it be if it became a golden-winged bird that ate dragon's lungs and drank phoenix's blood? Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, the Moon Empress nodded. The desolate bloodline fey in this golden egg is the Golden Wing. The Mountain Sea Catalog's record of the desolate bloodline fey is also basically true. Little Yuan, although you've consumed the geocentric jade milk, causing both your soul and body to transform, you might still have to suffer if you want to contract the Golden Wing. Back then, when Master contracted Zishi, he suffered a lot. The desolate bloodline Fays are unruly, and it is much harder to contract a desolate bloodline Fey than a marrow contract with a sacred source life form. Later, when you contract the Golden Wing, the sacred source life form that you previously contracted will be of some assistance. You have to remember, during the contract process, you must firmly suppress the Golden Wing's will. Otherwise, after the contract, the master-slave relationship will likely be swapped. But little Yuan, don't be fooled by how difficult it is to contract a desolate bloodline Fey. Once the desolate bloodline Fey is contracted, the desolate bloodline Fey will be like your other Feys. They will be good companions that accompany you for life. While speaking, the Moon Empress handed the Golden Wing's egg to Lin Yuan. In a short while, Mystic Moon commanded the spirit attendants to serve another table of dishes. After eating the dishes again, Lin Yuan no longer felt as unbearable as before. Soon, Lin Yuan realized that as the soul in his mind, which had not contracted a sacred source life form, absorbed enough nutrients and energy, his body's hunger disappeared. His body's transformation was finally complete. Because the desolate bloodline Fey had to compete with the desolate bloodline Fey's will, it could not be disturbed. Therefore, Lin Yuan went to his breeding room after the meal and closed the door. According to the Moon Empress instructions, he sliced open his palm. He used his blood and soul power to wrap the Golden Wing's eggshell at the same time. The moment Lin Yuan's blood and soul power were sucked into the golden eggshell covered with storm patterns, Lin Yuan felt that he suddenly appeared in the eye of the hurricane. In the eye of the hurricane, Lin Yuan felt the violent aura that filled his body and prepared to release his will. Suddenly, Lin Yuan felt that a boundless beast was awakening in the wind. Moreover, this awakened boundless beast was staring at him in the chaotic and violent wind. Lin Yuan's expression did not change in the slightest. Lin Yuan had clearly been in the Radiant Moon Palace's breeding room. However, after using his blood and soul power to wrap the eggshell, he had appeared here. It was very likely that his soul had entered the golden eggshell. What he saw was the scene inside the golden eggshell. Lin Yuan remembered that his master, the Moon Empress, had said that he wanted to contract the Golden Wing. He was destined to have a battle of wills with the Golden Wing. Since it was a battle of wills, it did not matter if he took the initiative to attack. In any case, the Golden Wing's will would eventually collide with his. Therefore, Lin Yuan only needed to stick to his heart. However, he recalled that his master, the Moon Empress, had said that even if he consumed the geocentric jade milk, he would still suffer. Lin Yuan's heart subconsciously tightened. Previously, whether it was using the silver stamen gold luster cassia nectar to wash away the impurities in his body or using the geocentric jade milk to change his body, even his master, the Moon Empress, had not said anything to remind him. 166 Reading Network. Chapter 1246. Since it had reminded him this time, it was very likely that he would suffer from contracting the Golden Wing. It would far exceed the suffering he had suffered when he had taken the geocentric jade milk to be reborn. Before waiting for the Golden Wing's will to find him, Lin Yuan had already released his will. He let his will fill the surrounding environment. Lin Yuan was currently in the world inside the golden eggshell. Lin Yuan's figure inside the golden eggshell was a product of his soul manifestation. As Lin Yuan continued to release his will into the surrounding environment, behind Lin Yuan's body formed by his soul, a shadow formed by his will appeared. This will shadow was Lin Yuan's appearance, but it was thousands of times larger than the body formed by Lin Yuan's soul. Lin Yuan's will was strong to begin with. When he had just taken the geocentric jade milk, Lin Yuan's will had been strengthened to the extreme. At that moment, the huge figure formed by Lin Yuan's will felt like it was about to break through the storm. Lin Yuan sensed the shadow formed by his will behind him. However, Lin Yuan did not notice that the wrist of the shadow formed by his will was also wrapped around a copper ring formed by his will. At that moment, a cry that could cut through metal and stone sounded in the storm. After this cry, the wind and clouds surged around the eye of the storm. Lin Yuan looked up and saw a giant bird that could cover the sky staring at him with cold and sharp eyes. This giant bird that covered the sky had a strong and elegant body, and its golden wings were engraved with wind patterns. The slight flap of each feather could form a violent tornado. Thousands of violent tornadoes shuttled back and forth in the giant golden bird's wingspan, sweeping up everything that could be touched. The giant bird's eyes were heroic and sharp, and its dark golden pupils were alienated and contemptuous of everything. The slender and sharp claws under its abdomen seemed to be able to easily grab a dragon's heart with its claws. Its sharp beak could easily tear off a phoenix's neck and suck the blood hidden in the phoenix's neck. What kind of majestic giant bird was this? Lin Yuan felt that it was a little hard to describe. If Lin Yuan's previous body formed by his will was already a huge creature, then Lin Yuan's will was standing in front of this giant golden-winged bird. At that moment, Lin Yuan's will stood in front of this giant golden-winged bird like a baby standing in front of an adult. With this gap, Lin Yuan immediately knew just how powerful Golden Wings will was with the desolate bloodline. Lin Yuan recalled that his master, the Moon Empress, had said that sacred source lifeforms could help him in this battle of wills. Thus, Lin Yuan called out to the princess. Immediately after, an even larger phantom appeared behind the phantom formed by Lin Yuan's will. This figure was a woman with a dress fluttering in the wind. Fine cracks appeared on the golden eggshell in his hand at that moment. Upon hearing the clacking sounds coming from inside the eggshell, Lin Yuan saw a small bird's beak penetrate the eggshell. Finally, a golden-winged bird about the same size as Chimey emerged from the eggshell. Upon seeing the wet feathers on the golden-winged bird, Lin Yuan hurriedly took out a square towel from the amber button-shaped diamond face storage box and covered the golden-winged bird. The golden-winged bird could not even stand steadily in Lin Yuan's hand, but it was the same as Zhongzai's burning sky roar. It had the unique aura of a desolate bloodline fae. In addition to the introduction of the golden-winged bird's diet, the Mountain Sea catalog also had other records of the golden-winged bird. The golden-winged bird spreads its wings, its abdomen covers the sky, its claws are like a ravine, and it cuts off rivers and peaks. From this, it could be seen that the golden-winged bird was an abnormally large desolate bloodline fae. Its attack method mainly relied on its powerful physical body. However, the Mountain Sea catalog's introduction of the golden-winged bird's meaning was refining the wings as a nascent soul, and its body is connected to time. Lin Yuan really did not understand. In Lin Yuan's interpretation, it seemed to say that the golden-winged bird could obtain the ability to control time when it went through some kind of change. However, what exactly did the ability to control time refer to? Lin Yuan thought about it for a long time but did not have any clues. 166 Reading Network. Chapter 1247. Lin Yuan was not a very stubborn person. He could not get an accurate answer just by thinking about it, so he simply did not spend any effort on it. Anyway, as he continued to nurture the newly hatched golden wing, it would always give him an answer. Lin Yuan estimated that after nurturing the little fellow in his hand for a period of time with dragon liver and phoenix blood, its size would quickly increase. In the end, it was very likely to reach a level that could even cover the sky like what he had seen in the golden eggshell. However, Lin Yuan had a headache at the thought of using dragon liver and phoenix blood to nurture this little fellow. Where was he going to get so much dragon liver and phoenix blood? The dragon liver and phoenix blood that he needed were not a one-time deal. As the golden wing grew, it would only consume more and more dragon liver and phoenix blood in the future. Lin Yuan had to think deeply about this problem. This was a difficult problem that he had to urgently solve. If he did not solve this problem, his golden wing could not grow. When the Mountain Sea catalog recorded the golden wing's diet, it recorded its pickiness. It also recorded the golden wing's extremely high requirements for food. Those who eat dragon liver and drink phoenix blood are all picky and good. Otherwise, there will be no wind in the chaotic feathers. This sentence could be interpreted as when the golden wing ate dragon liver and drank phoenix blood. The dragon liver and phoenix blood had to be fresh. At the same time, the dragon liver and phoenix blood had to reach a certain level. Otherwise, the golden wing's feathers would lose their luster, and the wind patterns in the feathers would disappear. This was enough to show how picky and difficult it was to raise the golden wing. According to the level and freshness of the dragon liver and phoenix blood, it would affect the golden wing's health. Lin Yuan roughly speculated that the higher the level of dragon liver and phoenix blood the golden wing consumed, the stronger it would grow. However, Lin Yuan could not judge the level of dragon liver and phoenix blood. However, Chimey definitely did not meet the requirements. First of all, the Luan phoenix species was only a branch of the main phoenix species. Non-pure Luan phoenix blood might not guarantee the golden wing's health even if it drank it. Moreover, Chimey had used the sound bird's bloodline to devour the Luan phoenix's bloodline. As a result, there was pitifully little Luan phoenix blood in Chimey's blood. Chimey did not meet the requirements, but Little Black was a pure worm-dragon fae. It could be considered a fact that it was promoted to a main dragon species. Although Little Black's dragon liver should be enough to meet the golden wing's requirements, neither Little Black nor Chimey could provide liver or blood for it. After pondering for a long time, Lin Yuan's eyes suddenly lit up. In order to obtain phoenix blood, one didn't necessarily have to kill a phoenix fae. One could also use other methods to obtain phoenix blood. There were many main phoenix species faes in the Dawn Cloud bird niche. A peak faction's resources were limited. If they wanted to expand their market, they would have to make concessions in other aspects. The main phoenix species fae's bloodline might be noble, but its growth would be accompanied by far more resource consumption than ordinary faes. As a pinnacle faction that was rapidly expanding into the market, Li Yun bird niche did not have enough resources to supply the faction's main phoenix-type fae. He felt that he could provide resources to the Li Yun avian niche's main phoenix species fae. He wanted those main phoenix species faes to willingly trade their blood with him. Under normal circumstances, none of the main phoenix species faes would be willing to let out their blood. However, as long as they used resources that were far more valuable than the phoenix blood, they would be willing to exchange for it. Furthermore, such resources could allow the main phoenix fae to obtain sufficient benefits. Lin Yuan felt that there should be no problem with his relationship with Li Yun Avian Can and Li Xian's matchmaking. That way, it could ensure that the golden wings drank the fresh phoenix blood from the source. However, the phoenix blood could be resolved, but Lin Yuan could not ask Long Tao about the dragon liver. There were plenty of dragon species faes in the Coiling Dragon Valley, so it was very easy for Lin Yuan to obtain dragon blood from Long Tao. It was also not a problem to obtain dragon species fae's essence blood. After all, both could be regenerated. However, the dragon liver was a dragon species fae's main organ that could not be regenerated. Taking out the dragon liver was the same as killing the dragon species fae. Therefore, it was far more difficult to obtain the dragon liver than the phoenix blood. However, the most convenient way to obtain the dragon liver was to look for Long Tao and see if he had any methods. Even if Long Tao did not have any methods, it was also good for Lin Yuan to trade for some dragon species faes that were easy to enhance the bloodline from the Coiling Dragon Valley. Lin Yuan's 100 Questions Beast army would only grow stronger in the future, and he had plenty of Creation Master resources. Even if Lin Yuan used Creation Master resources to nurture a high-grade dragon species fae, it was not impossible for him to take the liver to nurture the golden wings. As for the golden wings eating the dragon liver and drinking the phoenix blood, they needed to absorb wind elemental energy and spirit chi. Lin Yuan did not need to worry at all. There was plenty of pure spirit chi in the Spirit Lock spatial zone. Although the dimensional rift did not produce spiritual ingredients like variant wind, the wind elemental heavenly maiden grade elemental pearls were enough to solve the problem of the golden wings needing to consume wind elemental energy. Lin Yuan looked at the little golden wings in his hand, which he did not know how many resources it would consume in the future. Lin Yuan could not help but sigh in his heart. What kind of life do I have? After contracting the source-type life form, Red Thorn, it was hard to raise it. After contracting the sacred source life form, Queen, it was hard to raise it. Now that it had contracted the golden wings with the bloodline of desolation, it was even harder to raise it. Without the spirit lock spatial zone, Lin Yuan was afraid that his own phase, source-type lifeforms, and sacred source lifeforms would completely collapse. At that moment, the little golden wings' fledgling feathers in Lin Yuan's hand were already dry. The little golden wings burrowed out of the square scarf and looked at Lin Yuan curiously. Lin Yuan had used his soul, blood, and a certain amount of spiritual energy to form a contract with the golden wings. Therefore, the golden wings and the queen could learn and grow according to the knowledge in Lin Yuan's soul. Just as Lin Yuan was about to greet the golden wings, he heard the golden wings speak first. Lin Yuan, give me a name. I will do my best to protect you in the future. After saying that, the golden wings even flapped its wings twice as though it was showing off its strength to Lin Yuan. However, just as the golden wings flapped its wings, before it could fly, it immediately noticed Morbius on Lin Yuan's wrist. When it noticed Morbius, it quickly covered its eyes with its wings. It looked as though it had a lingering fear. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan almost burst out laughing. The golden wing's current appearance was no different from a newly hatched little yellow chick. The two flaps of its wings just now were like a chicken pecking at rice. It was so stupid. Lin Yuan held back his laughter, afraid that he would hurt the golden wing's pride. Lin Yuan, who could sense the golden wing's fear through his spiritual energy, quickly used his other hand to hold the golden wings. He used his fingertips to gently stroke the golden wing's soft young feathers and spoke softly as though he was coaxing a child. Don't be afraid, golden wings. Morbius will also be your partner in the future. As for the golden wings asking Lin Yuan to help name it, Lin Yuan said that he was the best at naming things. 166 Reading Network. Chapter 1248. Lin Yuan said as he recalled the golden wings that covered the sky in the eggshell world. I'll call you Twinkle from now on. In fact, Lin Yuan wanted to call it golden-winged golden shimmering. But it was not convenient to say the word golden, so it was more convenient to say Twinkle. The princess, who was working hard to digest the world crystal in the depths of Lin Yuan's soul, revealed a satisfied expression when she heard the name Lin Yuan had given golden-winged. The princess felt that compared to Shan Shan, her name, Pill, sounded better. God knew how unbalanced the princess had been when he had named the sea burial lotus as Silver Splendor and the golden lotus brocade as Brocade Say. Fortunately, he was finally back to normal. Under Lin Yuan's continuous caresses, the little gold wing finally dared to close its wings and reveal its eyes. After comforting the little golden wing, Lin Yuan used Morbius True Data. He curiously and expectantly checked the desolate bloodline Fey, Golden Wing's attributes. He didn't know if this little thing's growth required such a huge amount of resources, and whether its skills could match up to the huge amount of resources it consumed. Fey name, Gold Wing, Spirit Species, Desolate/Terrapodity, Fey Grade, Normal, 1/10, Fey Type, Wind, Fey Quality, Normal Skills Frowny Face Neck Snapping Hell. When the sharp claws hit the target, it will trigger the neck snapping effect, breaking the target's neck. At the same time, it will grab the target's soul from the neck bone and absorb the soul into the feather, giving the wind patterns on the feather intelligence. Looking at the golden-winged Fey species, Lin Yuan suddenly thought of when he had checked on Zhongzai's burning sky centipede. Zhongzai's sky-burning centipede spirit species belonged to the desolate tooth beast family. At that time, it was the first time Lin Yuan had seen a desolate Fey. From the looks of it, Feys with the desolation bloodline should also belong to the desolation species in True Data. In the future, apart from the aura of desolation emitted by the bloodline of desolation Feys, Lin Yuan would not be able to use it. It could also use the Fey species to determine if it was a Fey with the desolate bloodline. According to the Mountain Sea Catalog's introduction, Lin Yuan knew that the Golden Wing was a desolate bloodline Fey that relied on its physical body to fight. It could be said that Golden Wing's normal skill, Broken Neck, was very compatible with Golden Wing's style. The neck snap effect could greatly increase the lethality of the Golden Wing. It could even be said that the Golden Wing had the ability to kill its target in one hit. Absorbing the target's soul into the feather and giving the wind patterns on the feather sentience made him think of the thousands of tornadoes swirling between the sky-covering Golden Wing's feathers in the golden eggshell. If the wind patterns on every feather of the Golden Wing had intelligence, the tornado produced by the wind patterns was equivalent to an extension of the golden-winged Golden Wing's body. It could be said that while the normal skill-breaking neck and sinking nether took into account the Golden Wing's physical damage, it also strengthened the Golden Wing's elemental damage. After checking the Golden Wing True data, he brought the Golden Wing True data to the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone. Lin Yuan realized that genius was not in the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone. It should have gone to the Swamp World to plant the soldier grain radishes through the Klein Hub. At that moment, Chimey wasn't live streaming. It was in the nest of the phoenix perching Chinese parasol tree, working hard to absorb the energy in the exceptional flame. Upon seeing that Lin Yuan had arrived in the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone, Chimey immediately flew over while chirping. At that moment, Flash, who was being held in Lin Yuan's hand, suddenly froze. Twinkle stared at Chimey without blinking. It looked like a silly boy who had fallen in love with a beautiful lady at the alley entrance at first sight. When Chimey landed on Lin Yuan's ear and was behaving happily with him, Lin Yuan, who was chatting with Chimey, had already relied on his spiritual energy to keenly discover Flash's state. For a moment, Lin Yuan did not know what to say about Flash's state. As early as when Flash hatched, Lin Yuan had discovered that it was a male bird. This Flash was indeed a fae with the bloodline of desolation. It had just been born, and it already had puppy love. However, under normal circumstances, puppy love often did not have any good results. Lin Yuan had come to the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone this time to pick a batch of spirit rosewood peonies for his master, the Moon Empress. Lin Yuan did not care whether Flash would have a good result from falling in love with Chimey at first sight. Lin Yuan asked Chimey to take care of Flash while he took 3 spirit chi crystals in one go. He then crushed the 3 spirit chi crystals together for the spirit rosewood peonies to absorb. Previously, he had used 1 spirit chi crystal to let 10 spirit rosewood peonies absorb spirit chi. This time, he had crushed 3 spirit chi crystals together, allowing Lin Yuan to harvest 40 spirit rosewood peonies that were full of spirit chi. Of course, such a large output was inseparable from the spirit rosewood peonies that had been absorbing the pure spirit chi in the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone during this period. After uprooting these 40 spirit rosewood peonies and putting them into the platinum phase storage box, Lin Yuan left the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone in a flash. As soon as he left the breeding room, he found his master, the Moon Empress, and Mystic Moon waiting for him at the entrance. Upon seeing the Moon Empress' concerned eyes, Lin Yuan smiled and said, "Master, the gold wing is my fae now." Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, the smile on the Moon Empress' face deepened. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, the smile on the Moon Empress' face deepened. "Little Yuan, do you have a clue about nurturing the gold wing's dragon liver and phoenix blood?" Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan told the Moon Empress his plans in full detail. When the Moon Empress heard Lin Yuan's words, the expression on her face became more and more astonished. After Lin Yuan finished speaking for a long time, the expression on the Moon Empress' face changed from astonishment to pride. From the moment Lin Yuan mentioned his plans for the dragon liver and phoenix blood, Mystic Moon knew that the dragon liver and phoenix blood that the Moon Empress had prepared for Lin Yuan in advance could not be given away. In addition, Lin Yuan's ability to use his connections to deal with things made Mystic Moon immediately understand why Lin Yuan could not get the Moon Empress help. He had developed Sky City so quickly in a short period of time. The Moon Empress pondered for a moment and put away the diamond phase storage box that she had been holding in her hand. Then, she threw a gold phase storage box to Lin Yuan and said, "Little Yuan, it's getting late." "Little Yuan, it's already late. Why don't you stay in the Radiant Moon Palace for the night before returning tomorrow?" This gold phase storage box has a few bottles of main phoenix species Fey blood and a dragon species Fey's liver that is only one step away from advancing to a main dragon species bloodline. These two things can at least allow the gold wing to reach bronze. Gold, when devouring the phoenix blood and dragon liver, it's best to be accompanied by the absorption of pure spirit chi and wind elemental energy. Little Yuan, I didn't expect your nurturing standards for the gold wing to be so high. I'm looking forward to how strong your gold wing will be when it grows up. Lin Yuan looked at the gold phase storage box that the Moon Empress handed over and decided to return to the breeding room in a while to raise the gold wing's grade. On the day he had met Qin Luan and Qin Yu, he had comprehended a willpower rune made of air currents. This willpower rune was like an indefinite wind and was very suitable for the gold wing. 166 Reading Network. Chapter 1249. If he could raise the golden wing's quality to legend, he could immediately evolve it into a fantasy breed. No spirit chi professional in this world would not look forward to their phase becoming fantasy breeds. Lin Yuan was naturally no exception. Furthermore, his golden wing was not an ordinary Fey. It was a Fey with the bloodline of desolation. Lin Yuan, who was in a hurry to enter the breeding room to nurture the golden wing, took out the platinum phase storage box that contained 40 nightmare spirit peonies and handed it to the Moon Empress. Master, apart from that longevity rat, the phase in this phase storage box are also for you. Upon seeing the platinum phase storage box, the Moon Empress reached out to take it. It just so happened that she would ask Lin Yuan if he had any plans to have more pure spirit chi later. The Moon Empress might be willing to let Lin Yuan use precious spiritual ingredients. In a situation where fate could not be changed, the geocentric jade milk was useful to Lin Yuan, so he was even willing to give up the geocentric jade milk that could increase his lifespan by 1 year. However, the Moon Empress was too embarrassed to ask for something from her disciple. The main reason she wanted to ask if Lin Yuan had more pure spirit chi was because Mystic Moon had given a drop of her essence blood to Lin Yuan. Essence blood was the essence of dragon species phase, and losing a drop of essence blood would be a great loss to Mystic Moon. The Moon Empress did not want Mystic Moon's potential to be affected because of this drop of essence blood. On the other hand, Mystic Moon had given Lin Yuan a drop of essence blood, which was equivalent to giving Lin Yuan a huge favor. It was true that Mystic Moon was the Moon Empress Moon Envoy, but the Moon Empress did not treat Mystic Moon as her servant. She had sufficient respect for Mystic Moon. This favor was something the Moon Empress owed Mystic Moon, and she had to return it. She was Lin Yuan's master, so it was reasonable for her to pay more. However, Mystic Moon was not Lin Yuan's master, and Lin Yuan did not know that Mystic Moon had given him the essence blood. Therefore, the Moon Empress wanted to use pure spirit chi, which she did not have, to help Lin Yuan return Mystic Moon's favor. After the Moon Empress checked the platinum phase storage box that Lin Yuan handed over, she knew that she did not need Lin Yuan's pure spirit chi anymore. This was because Lin Yuan had prepared pure spirit chi for her, and he had prepared so much. At that moment, the Moon Empress' heart surged with emotions that she hadn't experienced for decades. Ever since the Moon Empress had become a Class 4 creation master, she had been experiencing a state of superiority that others didn't have. When the Moon Empress became a Class 5 creation master, there would be countless people begging the Moon Empress to enhance phase, increase their quality, and heal their damaged roots. Such experiences had caused the Moon Empress to be used to being domineering and to using her creation master abilities to do things for others. The moment the Moon Empress saw the longevity rat, she knew that it had changed her destiny. She also knew that when Lin Yuan was facing the path of longevity, he had immediately thought of her. He didn't even know that he only had 3 years left to live. According to the Moon Empress' understanding, if someone grasped the opportunity to live forever, they would be able to live forever. As long as this person wasn't stupid, he wouldn't hand this opportunity over to someone else. However, Lin Yuan had given the opportunity to live forever to him. As a creation master, he must have seen countless miracles of life metamorphosis in the process of enhancing phase. Therefore, Lin Yuan definitely understood how precious life was. Was Lin Yuan a fool? The answer was definitely no. For Lin Yuan to have such strength at such a young age, he must be smarter than many people. Such a smart person who knew how precious life was willing to give the opportunity to the Moon Empress when facing longevity. Lin Yuan's feelings for her were self-evident. The Moon Empress had never thought of proving anything to Lin Yuan, but the longevity rat could be said to be the best proof that Lin Yuan could give to the Moon Empress. The Moon Empress didn't know how much pure spirit qi Lin Yuan had. However, in just a few days, Lin Yuan had provided her with 40 stalks of spirit qi. It was enough to prove that Lin Yuan had been diligently preparing for her. The pure spirit qi in the longevity rat and the spirit peony were things that the Moon Empress couldn't obtain with her own ability. Therefore, whether it was the longevity rat or the pure spirit qi in the nightmare spirit peony that he had given the Moon Empress, they could be considered gifts. After receiving so many gifts, the Moon Empress had a feeling that she could rely on someone for the first time. In any case, Lin Yuan's ability as a creation master was already ahead of her. However, the Moon Empress was sure that Lin Yuan wasn't a Class 5 creation master. The Moon Empress couldn't see any Class 5 creation master's unique Dao from Lin Yuan. In other words, Lin Yuan had used some special method to produce pure spirit qi. The Moon Empress was very curious about this, but she didn't have the intention to probe further. Ever since Lin Yuan had become her disciple, the Moon Empress had been teaching him to hide his trump cards. The last time Lin Yuan had given the Moon Empress pure spirit qi, she had thought of a problem. That was, what would happen if others discovered his uniqueness one day? At that time, Yu Ho, who only had 3 years left in her lifespan, could not find an answer. However, the Moon Empress already had the answer in her heart. Now that he had the lifespan rat, he would no longer have to face death because of his lifespan. He could always be Lin Yuan's protective talisman. With this thought, the Moon Empress' obsession to become stronger flourished. The Moon Empress sorted out her thoughts and said to Lin Yuan, "Little Yuan, I plan to enter seclusion until the early stages of the Radiance 100 sequence selection. I'll keep my phone with me when I'm free. If there's anything urgent, you can call me at any time." Upon hearing the Moon Empress' words, Lin Yuan replied with a smile. "I don't think I have anything urgent to disturb Master's seclusion. I'll come back to see Master after you come out." Lin Yuan accompanied the Moon Empress for half an hour before returning to the breeding room. Xian Yu, who was standing behind the Moon Empress, spoke softly to her. "Moon Empress, it's all thanks to young Lord this time." Upon hearing that, the Moon Empress' eyes, which had turned cold when Lin Yuan returned to the breeding room, revealed a smile again. But then the Moon Empress glanced at Mystic Moon and said, "That's right. Xian Yu, how dare you use something like essence blood so casually?" Mystic Moon had an embarrassed expression as he didn't expect the Moon Empress to settle the score with him after his young highness left. Just as Mystic Moon was racking his brains for a reply, the Moon Empress continued. "No matter what, I thank you on behalf of Xiao Yuan." After saying that, the Moon Empress tossed the platinum phase storage box to Mystic Moon and said, "You're right. Lin Yuan gave this to me. I will use the pure spirit qi inside to concoct a spirit liquid to help you purify your bloodline." Mystic Moon might be a fae, but he was an out-and-out pinnacle class for creation master. He could see the concentration of spirit qi inside the dragon spirit peony. The pure spirit qi inside the dragon spirit peony immediately let Mystic Moon know that his opportunity had arrived. Chapter 1250. At that moment, the Moon Empress stood up and spoke unhurriedly. According to the Totem Moon's investigation, the sandstorms from all directions are rushing toward the Radiance Federation. Black Moon, once the news of the Azure Federation sending envoys to observe the Radiance 100 sequence selection is out, the Freedom Federation also has the intention of sending envoys out of the Radiance Federation and has already submitted an application to the Radiance Imperial Court. When Mystic Moon heard the Moon Empress' words, his expression immediately turned cold. After pondering for a moment, Mystic Moon asked the Moon Empress, "Moon Empress, now that your 3 years of lifespan has been resolved, what about the imperial court? The Moon Empress looked at her hand for a long time before speaking. Let's not talk about the royal court first. Since the sandstorms from all directions are sweeping across the radiance, why don't we use the sandstorms from all directions to polish the crown on my head? It's fine if these people came to Hui Yao with good intentions. If you have any bad intentions, then don't even think about leaving. When he returned to the breeding room, he hurriedly summoned Chimey and Golden Wing. When Lin Yuan had been drinking tea with the Moon Empress, he had heard Enin complain to him more than once. After Lin Yuan left, Chimey returned to its nest and absorbed the energy transmitted by the phoenix perching Chinese parasol tree. He was working hard to transform into a human form and hold a fan meeting. As for the golden-winged bird, it was like a brat that kept pestering Chimey, wanting to play with it. Chimey wasn't willing to play with golden-winged, so golden-winged kept causing trouble for it. The golden-winged bird had just hatched from the eggshell, although it had obtained knowledge from its own soul. But he didn't get any enlightenment on how to get along with others. As Goldwing's contractor, Lin Yuan gave Goldwing a good lesson in a very serious manner. Tell Golden Wing how a little man should behave in the world. After being taught a lesson by Lin Yuan, the Goldie immediately ran in front of Chimey in embarrassment and apologized. In Chimey's memory, Lin Yuan had never pulled it into a class seriously. In fact, Lin Yuan rarely spoke to her seriously. Therefore, Chimey had subconsciously used this reason to complain to him, causing him to be angry with Golden Wing. After receiving the golden-winged bird's apology, Chimey also apologized to it. His attitude toward the golden-winged Golden Wing began to become friendly. Of course, this was also thanks to Golden Wing's transformation. After all, it was really difficult for a brat to gain the favor of others. Lin Yuan nodded in satisfaction as he watched Golden Winged and Chimey getting along. After sending Chimey back to the Spirit Lock spatial zone to continue improving his strength, he took out the dragon liver and phoenix blood and placed them in front of the Golden Wing. The Golden Wing's eyes lit up when it saw Lin Yuan take out the dragon liver and phoenix blood. Lin Yuan, can I eat these things? Twinkle loves these things. Lin Yuan placed his hand on Golden Wing's back and said to him, that's right. Hurry up and eat. These are all prepared for you. After eating these, your strength will increase. While speaking, Lin Yuan tried to inject pure spirit qi into the Golden Wing's body. Soon, Lin Yuan realized that pure spirit qi was injected into the Golden Wing's body and quickly spread into the air. This meant that Golden Wing's current body did not need to absorb pure spiritual energy. While Lin Yuan was experimenting, the golden-winged bird had already started eating. The Golden Wing ate the dragon liver and phoenix blood bit by bit. Lin Yuan realized that the pure spirit qi he had injected into the Golden Wing's body could be absorbed by the Golden Wing's body as it digested and absorbed the dragon liver and phoenix blood. While the Golden Wing was eating, Lin Yuan did not forget to take out the wind element heavenly maiden grade elemental pearls. Lin Yuan crushed the elemental pearls into powder and placed them beside the dragon liver and phoenix blood. He let the Golden Wing decide whether it wanted to eat the powder. As the Golden Wing ate, Lin Yuan watched as the young feathers on its body hardened bit by bit. In the end, they turned into sharp and tough golden feathers. The Golden Wing's tender eyes gradually became sharp as its strength increased. As for the Golden Wing's body size, it was growing rapidly with every passing moment. Lin Yuan deliberately suppressed the Golden Wing's grade as its grade soared. He deliberately waited for the Golden Wing to reach Elite/Epic before breaking through to Bronze. 3 exclusive skills appeared for Lin Yuan to choose from after the Bronze Gold Wing was promoted to Bronze. Dragon Phoenix Frightening Food. During the process of devouring the dragon liver and phoenix blood, it can swallow a large amount of dragon liver and phoenix blood into its body at one time, speeding up the digestion of the dragon liver and phoenix blood. It can also produce an aura that has a powerful deterrent force against dragons and phoenixes, increasing the lethality against dragons and phoenixes. The appearance of this first exclusive skill made Lin Yuan frown slightly. It was not that this first exclusive skill was bad. The first exclusive skill was equivalent to increasing the Golden Wing's evolution speed when the dragon liver and phoenix blood were sufficient. It also increased the Golden Wing's lethality against dragons and phoenixes. If Lin Yuan chose this exclusive skill, he could let the Golden Wing grow in a very short time. Although dragons and phoenixes occupied a large group among the experts phase, they had limitations. Lin Yuan's creed in enhancing phase had always been to pursue the strongest direction for the phase and never pursue the speed at which the phase strength increased. It could be said that this exclusive skill was incompatible with Lin Yuan's horoscope. Lin Yuan checked the second exclusive skill. Mountain Sea in the abdomen, open up a small world in the abdomen. The world in the abdomen can contain inanimate objects, and living objects can only contain dragons and phoenixes. As the grade of the world in the abdomen increases, the area will become larger. When the stamina is exhausted, it can refine the life forms in the world in the abdomen to replenish the consumed energy. Lin Yuan simply did not know how to complain about this second exclusive skill. The second exclusive skill, Mountain Sea in the abdomen, had the same effect as Morbius Spirit Lock Spatial Zone. However, compared to the Spirit Lock Spatial Zone, it was at least worlds apart. If Lin Yuan were to define this exclusive skill, it could be roughly defined as a phase storage box, a dragon and phoenix phase breeding farm, and an energy storage vault. Lin Yuan had plenty of diamond phase storage boxes. If he wanted to nurture dragons and phoenixes, wouldn't it be better to find a place to build a breeding base? In Lin Yuan's opinion, the only bright spot of the Mountain Sea in the abdomen was its energy storage. However, there were many ways to recover stamina, and he could rely on external help. He did not necessarily have to occupy an exclusive skill. The two exclusive skills that appeared for the Golden Wing were not in line with Lin Yuan's expectations. Lin Yuan continued to check the third exclusive skill. As a result, a smile immediately appeared on Lin Yuan's face when he saw the third exclusive skill. Unstable temperament. During the process of contact with the Fae, the exclusive skill and passive ability of the Fae can be stored. At that time, the exclusive skill Unstable Temperament will become the replaced exclusive skill and passive ability. The time limit for each replacement is 1 cycle of the Sun and Moon. It could be said that the exclusive skill Unstable Temperament allowed Lin Yuan to see the endless possibilities of the Golden Wing. ABC. Chapter 1251. The exclusive skill, Unstable Temperament, could allow the Gold Wing to constantly change its position to suit Lin Yuan's Fae. At the same time, Lin Yuan no longer had to covet a certain Fae's exclusive skill and passive skill. As a creation master, Lin Yuan had enhanced countless Faes. Naturally, he had seen many excellent exclusive skills and passive skills. Among all the Faes that Lin Yuan had personally enhanced, he still felt that this was the first Fae that he had nurtured for Chu Ci. The Obsidian Iron Wild Bull's exclusive skill and exclusive skill were the best. Lin Yuan coveted the Obsidian Iron Wild Bull's elite skill, Sacrifice, and Bronze exclusive skill, Annihilation Gaze. However, Lin Yuan coveted the Obsidian Iron Wild Bull's elite skill, Sacrifice. As a bloodline of Desolation Fae that relied on its physical ability to attack, the Gold Wing's body would definitely contain a huge amount of vitality after it grew up. It had an extremely strong damage resistance effect. If he could replace the Gold Wing's exclusive skill, Unstable Temperament, with the Obsidian Iron Wild Bull's passive skill, Sacrifice, Lin Yuan would be able to increase his defense ability again. He would have an additional powerful life-saving means. Spirit Chi professionals had always had 3 levels of life-saving means. The first level was to resist the damage outside of the body through the method of blocking. Defense-type Spirit Chi professionals' shield abilities were generally this way. Lin Yuan's defense with the Source Sand was also on the first level of defense. Although the first level of defense was the most common means when facing external attacks, it was undoubtedly the lowest among the 3. It was very difficult to completely resist the risk by relying on the first level of defense. When facing some accidents that could not be reacted in time, the first level of defense was often stretched thin. When facing some accidents that could not be reacted in time, the first level of defense was often stretched thin. When facing a sudden attack in the controlled water world dimensional rift, Lin Yuan did not have time to use the source sand to defend. If Lu Jia had not blocked in front of him, Lin Yuan would have been seriously injured. He might even have died. After contracting Princess and Genius and obtaining new abilities, Lin Yuan had obtained the second level of defense. The laws and willpower absorbed by Princess Skirt made Lin Yuan immune to many types of damage. While Genius' spiritual expansion provided him with spiritual protection, it could also reflect the spiritual damage he received back at him. It could increase his own attribute resistance or use Fey abilities to obtain spiritual defense. These two defense methods belonged to the second level of defense. The second level of defense could instinctively resist the damage the moment it reached the spirit chi professional. Compared to the first layer of defense, the second layer of defense was undoubtedly much more effective. However, the second type of defense often had its limitations and could not be considered a life-saving method in the traditional sense. The Obsidian Iron Wild Bull's elite skill, Sacrifice, was powerful and valuable because it was the third tier of defense. The third level of defense would often provide spirit chi professionals with an additional life-saving method. If he let Goldwing's exclusive skill, Unpredictable Temperament, replicate the Obsidian Iron Wild Bull's elite ability, he could obtain a third life-saving method. At that time, the Golden Wing would be equivalent to Lin Yuan's Super Meat Shield. Unless the other party had the ability to kill the Golden Wing in one hit, he would not die no matter how strong the attack was. Furthermore, the Jasmine Lily's exclusive skill, Life Imprint, was not to be trifled with. He had not used the Jasmine Lily's exclusive skill, Life Imprint, for a long time. He could sense how much vitality was stored in the vitality imprint on his forehead. When encountering sudden danger, he often did not have the opportunity to open the Life Imprint. With the Golden Wing to share the damage, Lin Yuan would have the opportunity to unlock the Life Imprint. At that time, the massive vitality in the Life Imprint would continuously heal his injuries. At the same time, it would also pour vitality into the injured Golden Wing through the exclusive skill, Sacrifice. It could be said that the Golden Wing's exclusive skill, Unpredictable Temperament, formed a three-level closed loop for Lin Yuan's defense system. Lin Yuan did not need to spend any more effort on defense in the future. Now that he had obtained a new life-saving method, Lin Yuan felt much safer. In addition, the exclusive skill, Unpredictable Temperament, could replace the stored passive skill or exclusive skill once every sun and moon rotation. Each sun and moon rotation lasted 24 hours. The 24-hour cooldown period allowed Lin Yuan to modify the Golden Wing at any time. At certain specific times, Lin Yuan could exchange the Unpredictable Temperament's stored sacrifice. He could allow the Golden Wing to store combat-type skills and exclusive skills. This way, the Golden Wing's combat strength would be significantly enhanced. Of course, the exclusive skill, Unpredictable Temperament, was also particular about the stored passive skills and exclusive skills. It could not store passive skills and exclusive skills at will. For example, Chime's exclusive skill, Clear Golden Wings, could be replaced at will. However, for the Jasmine Lily's exclusive skill, Life Imprint, Black's exclusive skill, Spirit Chi Imprint, and Genius's exclusive skill, Connected Tail, if the Golden Wing were to be replaced, it would not have the desired effect. The powerful foundation of the Jasmine Lily and Black's exclusive skills was that one could constantly release vitality, while the other could constantly release Spirit Chi. The Golden Wing did not have the ability to release vitality and Spirit Chi. Even if it stored Life Imprint and Spirit Chi Imprint, it could not store vitality and Spirit Chi inside. As for Genius's exclusive skill, Connected Tail, it was based on the premise that Genius had a huge knowledge reserve. Without this powerful knowledge reserve, the Connected Tail's effect would be cut in half. It would only be left with the ability to communicate perfectly. In short, Lin Yuan liked the Golden Wing's exclusive skill, Unpredictable Temperament, which it had obtained after reaching bronze. At the start, when he had enhanced the golden wing, Lin Yuan had been standing beside it. Now that the golden wing had reached bronze, if he wanted to release pure spirit qi into its body, he could only stand on its back. At that moment, the bronze golden wing's wingspan had reached 20 meters, and it had become a true behemoth. From the golden wing, Lin Yuan could no longer see the cuteness it had when it was born. The golden wing's size was beyond Lin Yuan's understanding. He had never seen a bronze life form with such a huge body. Lin Yuan did not dare to imagine how shocking its body length would be as the golden wing's strength increased. In any case, black was definitely not comparable to the golden wing. As the golden wing constantly ate the dragon liver, phoenix blood, and wind-type heavenly maiden-grade elemental pearl powder. After the golden wing reached bronze, its quality had also steadily increased to epic. Lin Yuan immediately ordered to suppress the golden wing's grade increase and let it focus on enhancing its quality. End of this chapter. Chapter 1252. When there was only a small piece of dragon liver and half a bottle of phoenix blood left, the golden wing's quality finally reached legend. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan whispered to the golden wing. Golden Wing, Master said that Fays with the Desolation bloodline only start to show their true power when they become fantasy breeds. Every Fey with the Desolation bloodline has the ability to master a certain power, just like the records in the Mountain Sea catalog. Golden Wing, let me see how strong you will become after becoming a fantasy breed. After saying that, he summoned the willpower rune he had comprehended, which was composed of the airflow. This formless willpower rune seemed to have been born for the golden wings. Sensing the willpower rune that Lin Yuan had summoned, the golden wing stopped eating. With Lin Yuan's expectations, the golden wing firmly crashed into the willpower rune formed by the wind. After the golden wing crashed into the willpower rune formed by the wind, a gust of wind rose in the breeding room. The golden wing chirped and flapped its wings to fly up. The wind intertwined and clustered around the golden wing. At that moment, the golden wing felt a bit like the golden wing in the eggshell world to Lin Yuan. It seemed to have become the core of the wind at that moment. During the process of becoming a fantasy breed, the gold contained in the golden wing's feathers became denser and denser. The wind runes on the feathers became denser and denser. The brownish gold feathers on the golden wing's neck also suddenly turned golden at that moment. Lin Yuan raised his eyebrows in surprise. The golden wing's golden feathers were already different from the sky-covering golden wing that Lin Yuan had seen in the eggshell. The Mountain Sea catalog had never mentioned that the golden wing's brownish gold feathers would turn pure gold. Could it be because the pure spirit qi strengthened the golden wing's bloodline during the promotion process? While drinking tea just now, the Moon Empress had specially told Lin Yuan about the effect of pure spirit qi on Fays with the Desolation bloodline. Therefore, Lin Yuan increasingly felt that the change in the color of the golden wing's feathers was related to the pure spirit qi. During the process of becoming a fantasy breed, the golden wing's grade did not increase, but its body size increased again. Its original wingspan of 20 meters became 35 meters. Fortunately, his breeding room was big enough. Otherwise, a fantasy breed golden wing would definitely tear down the entire breeding room. Gradually, Lin Yuan realized that while the metallic luster in the golden wing's golden feathers became richer, there was also a bit of a crystalline feeling. The bird's eyes gradually darkened from their original bright gold color to a dark gold color. But in the dark golden eyes of the bird, there was a golden ring that was dozens of times brighter than the original golden color. The dark gold color in the center of the golden ring suddenly began to spin, as if a shocking storm was brewing. As the wind currents around the golden wing dissipated, it officially became a fantasy breed Fey. Lin Yuan immediately used Morbius True Data to investigate the golden wing. Fey name, Gold Wing, Spirit Species, Desolate/Terrapodity, Fey Grade, Bronze, 2/10, Fey Type, Wind, Fey Quality, Fantasy Eye Skills Frowny Face Neck Snapping Hell. When the sharp claws attack the target, it will trigger the neck snapping effect, breaking the target's neck. At the same time, it will grab the target's soul in the neck bone and absorb the soul into the feather, bestowing the wild wind patterns on the feather with intelligence. Flowing wind claw, scatter the wind elements in the wing's wind patterns into the environment and control the wind in the environment. At the same time, it can use the wind controlled by itself to attack the opponent. The attack damage is equivalent to the damage of the claw. After injuring the target, a large amount of wind elements can be injected into the target's body from the wound in an explosive manner, causing secondary damage to the target. Exclusive skill: Frowny Face, Unstable Temperament. During the process of contact with the Fae, it can store the Fae's exclusive skill and passive ability. At that time, the exclusive skill Unstable Temperament will become the replaced exclusive skill and passive ability. Each replacement time is limited to one cycle of the Sun and Moon. Monarch of Wind's Descendant, turn itself into the core of all wind elements, turn itself into the eye of the hurricane, and control the surrounding wind elements. The Monarch of Wind, all the chaotic winds in the world are its descendants. With one look, Lin Yuan felt as if his eyes were going to fall to the ground. At that moment, Lin Yuan finally understood why the Desolation Bloodline Fae could become the Radiance Federation's representative Fae. The power of the Desolation Bloodline Fae did indeed have the qualifications to protect the Radiance Federation's vast land. The exclusive skill, Monarch of Wind's Descendant, obtained after becoming a fantasy breed, had established the Golden Wing's control over the wind elements. As long as the Golden Wing was around, any Fae that relied on the wind elements would be weakened and suppressed. The exclusive skill, Monarch of Wind's Descendant, was a passive skill that would obviously become stronger as the Golden Wing's strength increased. Previously, Lin Yuan had always felt that Zhongzai's Burning Sky Centipede had a shocking enhancement ability on fire element phase. Now, the Golden Wing's suppression on wind element phase was much stronger than the Burning Sky Centipede's enhancement on fire element phase. Lin Yuan did not have a pure wind element Fae. The only Fae that could match the wind element was the ability that Gray had obtained after absorbing the wind weather. Therefore, the Golden Wing's suppression on Faes that relied on the wind element to fight had almost no effect on Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan felt that after the Golden Wing became a creation breed and condensed a world of wind, it would be enough to call itself the Wind God and be crowned. As for the Golden Wing's elite ability, Flowing Wind Claw, the more Lin Yuan looked at it, the more familiar it felt. After thinking for a long time, Lin Yuan suddenly remembered that Long Tao's Sea King Chalk Mosasaur had an ability called Sea Bite. It controlled the water flow to bite the target, which was very similar to the Golden Wing's ability, Flow of Wind, which controlled the wind elements to attack the target. However, Flow of Wind had an ability that the Sea Bite did not have. It could inject the wind elements into the target's body in an explosive manner from the target's wound. If the Sea Bite's attack was compared to a pistol, then Flow of Wind's attack was equivalent to a shotgun. The true lethality did not lie on the outside but on the inside. Compared to the burning of the fire element and the heavy pressure of the water element, the wind element was famous for cutting. When the wind was forced into the body and exploded, it was equivalent to installing a high-power meat grinder inside the wound. It could cause serious damage to the inside of the wound. At the same time, the high-pressure wind entered the blood vessels and would be pumped into the heart along with the blood. If the attacked Fae's heart function was not strong enough, it was very likely to form a blockage in the heart. It would cause the Fae's blood to be unable to circulate and die. While Lin Yuan was observing the Golden Wing's attributes, he saw it wanting to lean over and rub its neck against him. Lin Yuan hurriedly stopped the Golden Wing. Every feather on the Golden Wing's neck flickered with a sharp cold glint. If the Golden Wing were to rub against him, half of his face would probably be cut off by the Golden Wing's feathers. The Golden Wing was stopped by Lin Yuan and looked at him with some grievance. "Lin Yuan, you're so small." When Lin Yuan heard the Golden Wing's words, he could not help but support his forehead with his hand. "You're the small one. Your whole family is small." End of this chapter. Chapter 1253. At that point, Lin Yuan was suddenly embarrassed. No. The golden wing was his spiritual creature, which was equivalent to his family. For him to have such a thought, did it mean that he wasn't smart enough? Lin Yuan coughed lightly and let the golden wing finish eating the remaining dragon liver and phoenix blood. After the golden wing finished eating the remaining dragon liver and phoenix blood, he stored it in his spiritual spatial zone. Golden Wing's body was huge, but it did not know how to camouflage. Unless Golden Wing advanced to Myth 2 and transformed into a human, it would not be able to do so. Otherwise, he felt that he would not have a chance to summon the Golden Wings in a non-combat state. After leaving the breeding room, Lin Yuan returned to his pavilion and soaked in the hot spring to relieve his fatigue before having a good night's sleep. However, under the silent night sky, the old residence of the Blissful Sea clan was in a complete mess. At this time, every core member of the Sea of Bliss clan in the old mansion was sitting in the meeting room, trembling. Just then, news came from the spirit guards that the Miao family's beast creation garden had applied for the Blood Oath Extreme Battle against the Blissful Sea clan for the third time. According to the rules of the Extreme Battle Arena, after a faction made 3 requests, even if the other party did not agree, the Blood Oath Extreme Battle would still proceed as planned. Ever since Qi Haitao and Qi Wangyang had annoyed Lin Yuan in Sky City's private faction territory, they had been ignored by him. His heart turned cold. At the same time, he blamed himself for being too greedy and not giving away all the resources of the Blissful Ocean tribe in exchange for a chance to survive. In fact, Qi Haitao and Qi Wangyang had been hoping for something. Rumor had it that ever since the Great Night Assembly, the young palatial lord of Yeyang Palace had never liked the Miao family's beast creation garden. There were a few times when the Miao family took the initiative to express goodwill to the beast creation garden, but they didn't even get to see the young palace lord of the Yeyang Palace. He was chased out of the spirit guards with his tail between his legs. The Blood Oath Extreme Battle had to be jointly certified by the Extreme Arena and the spirit guards before it could be carried out. Qi Wangyang felt that based on young Palace Lord Yeyang's attitude towards the Miao family's beast creation garden, the spirit guards should not have allowed the Jing family to apply for the Blood Oath duel. However, the news from the spirit guards had arrived. This meant that the other hope in his heart other than the Sky Castle was completely gone. This was the first time Qi Wangyang felt that death was so close to him. Looking at the core members of the Blissful Sea tribe under him, none of them could come up with an idea. They all looked at him with their necks shrunk. Qi Wangyang was filled with anger and fear at the same time. Fear ignited Qi Wangyang's temper. He slammed his palm on the table and said, "All of you are spending the money of your forces. One of you is worth 2. Every time I make a little achievement, I can't wait to ask for resource rewards 5 times a day. Now that it's a matter of life and death, why aren't any of you letting out a fart? What happened to your regulations for resources?" Ha! Before Qi Wangyang could vent his anger, he heard an old man sitting down say, "I have been working for the Blissful Sea race for 4 to 5 years, but I am just a pinnacle class 3 creation master that was hired by the Blissful Sea race. I'm going to cancel my employment with the Blissful Sea tribe from now on." The old man's words caused the words that Qi Wangyang was about to say to be stuck in his throat. This caused Qi Wangyang to cough violently. Qi Wangyang coughed as he glared at the old man. If his gaze had any power, the old man would have been a dead man by now. Qi Wangyang cursed in his heart. Fuck. How can you be so shameless? Didn't this old thing keep expressing his loyalty to him when he was developing the islands? He said that he was willing to serve the Blissful Sea tribe for the rest of his life. He wanted to use this to exchange for 3% of the island's development shares. Back then, I had given the shares to this old man. This old man had spent a lot of resources on the Blissful Sea tribe over the past few years. Even the resources for Phase to evolve into myth breeds were provided by the Blissful Sea tribe. How could this old man have the cheek to say that I am just an external creation master of the Blissful Sea tribe? Apart from the fact that your surname isn't Zheng, the creation master resources you use are probably even more than the Zheng family's creation masters. After coughing, Qi Wangyang was about to scold the old man, but the old man spoke first. "Family head, don't blame me. Family head, please don't blame me. Humans will live if they move, but trees will die if they move. You didn't ask for Sky City's help, and the Blood Oath Extreme Duel can't defeat the Meow family's Beast Creation Garden. Back then, I didn't support you to cause trouble for the Meow family's Beast Creation Garden. It was your decision to destroy the family's future. As soon as the old man finished speaking, many of the Class 1, 2, and 3 Creation Masters from the Blissful Sea tribe responded. Even if it was a Class 1 Creation Master, as long as they could survive, they would be respected wherever they went. Therefore, without any emotional ties, no Creation Master would be willing to live and die with a faction. Before this meeting, many of the external Creation Masters had the intention to leave the Blissful Sea tribe. However, the low-class Creation Masters who didn't have powerful strength were afraid that the Blissful Sea tribe would act in desperation. The Pinnacle Class 3 Creation Master who spoke was an Emperor-class expert who had a newly evolved myth-breed Fae. If they stood behind the old man, it was undoubtedly a good opportunity to leave the Blissful Sea tribe. Otherwise, if they were really stuck in the Blissful Sea tribe by Qi Wangyang, they could only wait for death. When the Meow family's Beast Creation Garden defeated the Blissful Sea tribe during the Blood Oath Extreme Duel, the Blissful Sea tribe's resources would be distributed. If the Class 4 Creation Masters from the Blissful Sea tribe were willing to submit to the Meow family's Beast Creation Garden, the Meow family would definitely be willing to accept them. This was also an unspoken rule of the Blood Oath Extreme Duel. During the Blood Oath Extreme Duel, apart from the other faction's high-class Creation Masters, the external high-class Creation Masters would normally be able to survive. However, it wasn't the same for Class 1 and 2 Creation Masters. If the Blissful Sea tribe's Blood Oath Extreme Duel was a veteran faction, the veteran faction might fight for the Class 1 and 2 Creation Masters' resources. However, the Meow family's Beast Creation Garden was a top-notch faction that relied on Creation Masters. They had nurtured countless low-class Creation Masters. Therefore, the Class 1 and 2 Creation Masters hired by the Blissful Sea tribe might be treated as potential troubles and burdens and get rid of by the Beast Creation Garden. Seeing so many Class 1 and 3 Creation Masters responding to the old man, Qi Wangyang was so angry that his body was trembling. When the tree fell, the monkeys would scatter. Right now, the Blissful Sea tribe's tree had yet to fall, but the Creation Masters on the tree wanted to let go of the tree and escape. How could there be such a good thing in the world? The rage allowed Qi Wangyang to suppress the fear in his heart, and his eyes turned sinister. Seeing that Qi Haitao was about to stand up and speak, Qi Wangyang's sinister eyes looked at Qi Haitao. He stopped Qi Haitao. Qi Wangyang allowed the old man to lead the Class 1 and 2 Creation Masters to cause a ruckus. Chapter 1254. Qi Wangyang stood up and said in a cold voice when no one else joined the old man's group and was about to leave the Blissful Sea tribe. You guys have mastered the ability to push a man who is down. But don't forget, the collapse of a high wall can crush the person who pushed it to death. Just as Qi Wangyang finished his statement, the Elder and the other Creation Masters who were waiting to leave the Blissful Sea tribe had a dark expression. As a Pinnacle Class 3 Creation Master, the Elder actually didn't need to make a fuss. Even if the Blissful Ocean clan fell and the Meow family took over the Blissful Ocean clan's resources in the Beast Creation Garden. Under normal circumstances, he should be able to be put in an important position. However, in order to express his loyalty to Qi Wangyang and gain his favor, he had to give in to Qi Wangyang. When Qi Wangyang was targeting the Meow family's Beast Creation Garden, he had said something bad about the Meow family's Beast Creation Garden. The old man was afraid that the Meow family's Beast Creation Garden would come after him. That was why he chose to take the lead in stirring up the emotions of the Elysian Sea tribe at the beginning of this meeting that concerned the survival of the Elysian Sea tribe. Those Class 1 and Class 2 Creation Masters that didn't share the same surname wanted to cling on to the Elder and leave the Paradise Sea race. The Elder also needed these Class 1 and Class 1 Creation Masters to rise up. In order to curry favor with Qi Wangyang, the old man had spent most of his time by Qi Wangyang's side. He knew Qi Wangyang's character very well. Qi Wangyang was a person who cared about appearances. If it wasn't the last resort, Qi Wangyang would never fall out with the inner circle. This was also the reason why many Class 1 and Class 2 creation masters dared to have thoughts of leaving the Sea of Bliss during the critical moment. Now that Qi Wangyang had openly fallen out with him, the old man felt a strong sense of danger. After Qi Wangyang threatened him, the old man turned to look at an old man who couldn't even straighten his back. The old man looked sickly, sitting at the table with his back almost at a right angle. It was as if he would die if he couldn't catch his breath. However, everyone present knew that this old man was not as weak as he looked. This man was the younger brother of the Blissful Sea clan's previous clan leader, and Qi Wangyang's great-uncle, Qi Heng. As an advanced Class 4 creation master, Qi Heng was the strongest creation master in the veteran faction, the Sea of Bliss. He was also the owner of the most powerful force in the Blissful Sea clan. "Uncle, I'll have to trouble you to clean up the traitorous vermin in our Sea of Bliss." The elder stood up shakily and sighed as he asked Qi Wangyang. "Wangyang, tell me, how do you plan to deal with these people? If you weren't the family head, these people would have died under my frost-thorn twin carps." At this point, a dense killing intent spread out from the old man's body. This caused the hearts of everyone present to tremble. Qi Wangyang said coldly, "I have the same opinion as uncle. Normally, if the Blissful Sea tribe's real external members leave, then so be it. Those external creation masters that left the Sea of Paradise, which one of them didn't I, Qi Wangyang, give them a sum of resources before leaving? Right now, the Blissful Sea tribe is in a critical moment of life and death. If we leave now, we'll be stirring up trouble and disturbing their morale. Look at these people who stir up trouble and disturb the hearts of the people. All they do is show their loyalty. What they hate the most is that their surname isn't Qi. The people who grew up eating the resources of the Blissful Sea tribe are all trying to distance themselves from the Blissful Sea tribe. I don't know if the Blissful Sea tribe can survive this crisis, but even if the Blissful Sea tribe can't survive this crisis, you treacherous traitors will also die before me." As soon as Qi Haitao finished speaking, a blue-haired Lolita with 2 shoulders immediately appeared beside the elder. Once the blue-haired Lolita appeared, the conference room was immediately filled with a bone-chilling cold air. Immediately after, every member that said they were leaving the Blissful Sea tribe had their throats pierced by an icicle that froze their entire bodies. The Blissful Sea tribe's conference room had been wiped out by 1/5. The creation masters that weren't attacked looked at the dead pinnacle Class 3 creation masters and the frozen statues of the Class 1 and Class 2 creation masters. Their eyes gradually turned complicated. The hunchbacked Qi Heng saw all of these people's eyes. Qi Wangyang might have tried his best to say some nice words to show that he wasn't mean to the Blissful Sea tribe's members. But these nice words couldn't conceal the essence of massacre. The hearts of the Blissful Sea tribe's members were scattered like a pile of sand. If it wasn't for the deterrence of the cold thorn twin carps, Qi Wangyang might have really let these creation masters go. The remaining Class 3 and Class 4 creation masters would also look for Qi Wangyang after the conference ended. After all, a high-class creation master's status that was taken over by the Blood Oath Extreme Duel was far inferior to a free high-class creation master joining a faction. Qi Heng sighed silently. If the hearts of the people are scattered, so be it. The hearts of the people can scatter, but the people must not scatter. According to the information that Qi Haitao had provided before the conference, Sky City's city lord had only left Qi Wangyang and Qi Haitao in the cold. However, he didn't take the initiative to express that he wasn't going to help the Blissful Sea tribe. It was a fact that Sky City and the Miao family's beast creation garden had a grudge. The reason why Qi Haitao and Qi Wangyang had been left in the cold was because they hadn't expressed enough sincerity. If the people were to scatter now, the news would spread. In the eyes of outsiders, the Blissful Sea tribe's overall value would be greatly discounted. This would undoubtedly cause Sky City to look down on the Blissful Sea tribe's value. It was the same as reducing the Blissful Sea tribe's chips to seek help from Sky City. Therefore, Chi Heng would not tolerate this. Chi Heng looked at the scattered hearts in the room and Chi Wangyang, who had nowhere to vent his anger. Chi Heng tapped the ground with his walking stick and said, "Family head, I will take the initiative to communicate with Sky City." Family head, I will take the initiative to communicate with Sky City. I wonder what the family head's bottom line is? Chi Wangyang's face was filled with joy. If his uncle, Chi Heng, could take over this burden, it would be much easier for him. Uncle, my bottom line is to give 80% of Sky City's shares at most. By then, the Blissful Sea Tribe will be a faction under Sky City. I hope that during the negotiations, I can give 80% of the shares and get Sky City's promise to invest in the Blissful Sea Tribe. When the elder heard Chi Wangyang's words, he couldn't help but think of his brother's evaluation of his nephew. Wangyang can ensure the Blissful Sea Tribe's development, but he can't make up for the Blissful Sea Tribe's crisis. It seemed that his brother really understood his son to the bone. That was why he gave such an evaluation. Now that it was a matter of life and death, his bones were buried up to his neck. He couldn't let Chi Wangyang do whatever he wanted anymore. Even if Chi Wangyang was the nominal family head of the Blissful Sea Tribe. Chi Heng didn't respond to Chi Wangyang's words. Instead, he turned around and asked Chi Haitao. Haitao, what do you think? Chapter 1255. Chi Haitao did not expect that he would be called out by Chi Heng on such an occasion. Chi Haitao glanced at his father, hesitated for a moment, and finally said his bottom line. If Sky City can promise to guarantee our safety, we can let the Lord of Sky City ask for whatever he wants. This will show the sincerity of our Sea of Bliss to the greatest extent. If we make a promise ourselves, we won't be able to completely satisfy Sky City. It's impossible for Sky City to help us, the Blissful Sea Tribe. After all, we don't have any friendly relations with Sky City. On the contrary, we used some tricks against Sky City during our previous cooperation. Also, when we talk, we shouldn't focus on Sky City's hatred towards the Miao family's beast creation garden. Sky City's hatred towards the Miao family's beast creation garden has nothing to do with the Blissful Ocean Tribe. Sky City doesn't need to make use of the Blood Oath War between the Blissful Ocean Tribe and the Miao family's beast creation garden to attack the Miao family's beast creation garden. If Sky City really wants to do something to the beast creation garden, they can apply for a blood oath in their own name, Yi Zichen said. After Chi Haitao finished speaking, he bowed to Chi Heng. He did not dare to look at Chi Wangyang's eyes. Chi Wangyang's face turned green when he heard Chi Haitao's words. It could be said that Chi Haitao's words were equivalent to a complete denial of his previous actions. He did not show any mercy at all. Previously, he had been obsessed with Sky City's hatred towards the Beast Creation Garden. In the process of negotiation, they were not willing to give up the resources that the Sea of Bliss had. In Chi Wangyang's heart, Chi Haitao's words were no different from a thief. If the Sky City made a request, the Sky City wouldn't even leave a fart for the Blissful Sea Tribe. However, unlike Chi Wangyang's ashen expression, Chi Heng's face revealed a look of admiration and gratification when he heard Chi Haitao's words. Haitao will handle this matter with me. Patriarch, the waves are getting bigger. If the Blissful Sea Tribe can overcome this crisis, you'd better discuss things with Haitao in the future. Haitao's mind is clear. If you had discussed with him, the Blissful Sea Tribe wouldn't have ended up like this. Following Chi Heng's words, no one else spoke up. The breeding room of the Blissful Sea Tribe was eerily quiet. Unlike the quietness of the scene, the hearts of the people in the conference room were already boiling. Each of them had some thoughts that they could not reveal. The next morning, Lin Yuan woke up from his deep sleep. After waking up, Lin Yuan suddenly realized that the feeling of waking up today was very different from before. When people wake up, their bodily functions have just begun to recover, and they tend to be relatively lazy. But now that he had woken up, his body's functions had immediately reached their peak. Presumably, it had something to do with him using the geocentric jade milk to undergo a complete transformation. After waking up, Lin Yuan took a bath in the hot spring and changed into a set of spirit chi clothes. When he looked at himself in the mirror, he couldn't shift his gaze away for a moment. Lin Yuan wasn't a narcissistic person and wasn't interested in men. However, the appearance of the person in the mirror was simply too outstanding. All of a sudden, the words "cool" flashed in Lin Yuan's mind. Immediately after, he shook his head and tossed the strange thought out of his head. At that moment, one of the 4 tea attendants, Kai Cha, carried a tray to Lin Yuan's pavilion. Kai Cha, who had just entered the pavilion, saw Lin Yuan shaking his head and couldn't help but sigh in her heart. "My young lord is so outstanding. I really don't know what kind of woman will be worthy of him in the future." In the entire Radiant Society, with His Highness' talent and identity, it was truly difficult to find a good match. Among the people that Kai Cha knew, His Holiness's granddaughter was sufficient. However, her talent and strength were much worse than Lin Yuan's. His Holiness Tian Feng's younger sister was currently the second Radiance envoy, and her talent and strength were sufficient. However, she was much older than His Highness. In this case, only the granddaughter of His Holiness in the Imperial Court could match His Highness' talent and identity. Lin Yuan had already seen Kai Cha and hurriedly greeted her. Lin Yuan didn't know what Kai Cha was thinking. If Lin Yuan knew what Kai Cha was thinking, he would definitely be speechless. As someone who had transmigrated from another world, Lin Yuan didn't value things like status and talent. When he saw the breakfast that Kai Cha brought for him, Lin Yuan was rather curious. Under normal circumstances, shouldn't I be eating with my master in the inner palace? Lin Yuan found out from Kai Cha that the Moon Empress and Mystic Moon had been in seclusion since last night. After breakfast, Lin Yuan wasn't in a hurry to return to the mansion. Instead, he walked down the leaning Moon Mountain along with the early spring dew and went all the way to the royal capital's downtown area. Lin Yuan revealed a smile as he looked at the vast mountains and rivers, as well as the fireworks of the mortal world. This kind of radiant scene under the first rays of the morning sun was truly worth protecting. At that moment, Lin Yuan saw a hawker selling cornbread not far away. Lin Yuan immediately recalled how Chu Ci would clamor for cornbread every time she went out on the streets when she was young. Lin Yuan quickly walked over and was prepared to buy one from the hawker to savor the taste of the past. Lin Yuan, who was in a hurry to buy cornbread, didn't know that a group of people had gathered behind him and were secretly watching him. After buying the cornbread, Lin Yuan placed it in his mouth and chewed it. He realized that the taste of the cornbread was hard to swallow. However, Lin Yuan still ate it mouthful by mouthful. In Lin Yuan's heart, the memory of the cornbread was definitely more important than the taste and texture. Just as Lin Yuan was about to walk back to the mansion, his cell phone rang. He picked up the phone and saw that it was from Zhong Zhe. Thus, Lin Yuan quickly picked up the phone. Lin Yuan had previously asked Zhong Zhe to help see if he could obtain the sacred source life form, the Wind Crystal Treasure Bottle, from the Whale Ocean Trading Company's Myriad Origin Hull. Zhong Zhe had readily agreed at that time, but Zhong Zhe hadn't contacted Lin Yuan during this period. Presumably, this contact should be related to the source-type life form, the Wind Crystal Treasure Bottle. When Lin Yuan picked up the call, he heard Zhong Zhe ask with some embarrassment on the other end of the line. Lin Yuan picked up the phone and heard Zhong Zhe ask with some embarrassment, "Lin Yuan, do you still have the fire-type Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearl that you gave me previously?" Upon hearing Zhong Zhe's words, Lin Yuan was slightly startled. Lin Yuan did have a fire-type Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearl that contained the Wind Crystal Treasure Bottle. However, that Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearl had been woven into a bead string by Hu Quan. During the process of weaving the bead string, Hu Quan had had an epiphany as a spirit craftsman. As a result, the bead string that was woven from the Heavenly Maiden Grade Elemental Pearl had become a work of art. However, since Zhong Zhe had mentioned it and sounded a little anxious, Lin Yuan decided to be honest. Lin Yuan immediately answered honestly. End of this chapter. Chapter 1256. Big Brother Zhong, I still have a fire elemental heavenly maiden grade pearl that contains the divine Lady Xian. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, Zhongzhe was overjoyed. Zhongzhe didn't hide the fact that he needed the heavenly maiden grade elemental pearls for the divine maiden Xian fire attribute. Lin Yuan, you still have a fire element heavenly maiden grade elemental pearl with the goddess gerbils. That's great. If I want to purify my heaven burning hose bloodline, I need high purity fire elemental energy and pure spirit energy. As a matter of fact, the pure fire elemental energy in the elemental pearl you gave me last time triggered the bloodline of the heaven burning hoe. The burning sky centipede has been using the pure fire elemental energy in the elemental pearls to temper its bloodline. Although I don't need to consume the heavenly maiden grade fire elemental pearls in the process of tempering my bloodline, I still need to feel the pure fire elemental energy and assimilate my own fire elemental energy. The fire elemental energy in a heavenly maiden level elemental pearl is pure enough, but it's too weak. It's going to be difficult for the heaven burning centipede to assimilate its own fire element. If you still have one, I hope you can lend me that heavenly maiden grade fire elemental pearl that contains the goddess germinal pearl for a while. Lin Yuan replied without the slightest hesitation. No problem. Big brother Zong, are you in the capital right now? I just happen to have time now, why don't I send it to you directly? When Zhongzhe, who was on the other end of the line, heard Lin Yuan's words, his heart burned. Zhongzhe knew very well how precious the heavenly maiden grade fire elemental pearl was. Even his master, Chef Supreme, could not get a heavenly maiden grade elemental pearl that contained the goddess grapple. His creation master standard must have improved a lot over the past few years and had already surpassed his master. Lin Yuan's 2 fire elemental heavenly maiden grade elemental pearls should have been obtained from the Moon Empress. Just the fact that Lin Yuan had brought a fire elemental heavenly maiden grade elemental pearl with the heavenly maiden Xian pearl when he had been a guest at his place had already shocked Zhongzhe. Zhongzhe didn't expect Lin Yuan to give him such a big gift. Zhongzhe had called Lin Yuan because he was unwilling to accept the fact that the heaven-burning centipede was only a step away from purifying its bloodline. Under normal circumstances, even if they were good friends, it would be considered rude to involve such a level of resources. This was because no one would be willing to take it out if they did not have a close relationship. Even if there really was, he could still just reply with no to get over it. However, the moment Lin Yuan finished speaking, he immediately told her frankly that he did not have it. He knew that he needed it, yet he was willing to take the initiative to deliver such precious resources. Would-be said Zhe Zong Yuan would be. Zhe would be. Moreover, Zhongzhe himself hoped to be able to become good friends with Lin Yuan and treat each other with sincerity. Can God, Ants God, and Zong, Qi, and ZT, and Zong. In the past few days, Zhongzhe's fighting spirit had been ignited due to the curse, and he was getting more and more restless. Zhe's. And Lin, Master, King Zhe had. Originally, when Zhongzhe thought of Lin Yuan, he thought of that strange fragrance. However, after this incident, Zhongzhe, who could feel Lin Yuan's affection for him, thought of Lin Yuan again. She subconsciously thought of Lin Yuan's aroma, which could soothe the restless soul, but Lin Yuan himself. It seemed that other than Gu Lang, he had made another true friend. Lin Yuan noticed that Zhongzhe did not respond after he said that he was going to help deliver the elemental pearls. He subconsciously thought that it might not be convenient for Zhongzhe right now. Therefore, Lin Yuan hurriedly said, "That's right. Big brother Zong, if it's inconvenient for you, why don't I just ask Ostrich Logistics to send it over? Don't forget to sign for it in person. This is my last fire elemental pearl. It's the last fire elemental pearl I have." Lin Yuan's words brought Zhongzhe back to his senses, and his brows relaxed as he chuckled. "Lin Yuan, I have never been to your place before. I'll go to your place to get the elemental pearls in a while. I'll send you the source type item, the wind crystal treasure bottle." Upon hearing Zhongzhe's words, Lin Yuan replied, "Big brother Zong, I'll text you the address now. It just so happens that I've just returned from Master's place and am preparing to return to the manor. After speaking, Lin Yuan hung up the phone. After sending the text message to Zhongzhe, Lin Yuan no longer had the intention to continue strolling around. He sent his address to Zhongzhe, and Zhongzhe should be able to reach his manor very soon. As the owner of the manor, he should be receiving Zhongzhe in the manor instead of letting Zhongzhe wait for him in the manor. Thus, he used the ethereal jellyfish's node teleportation ability and returned to the main mansion's entrance in a few flashes. As soon as he returned to the mansion, he saw Wen Yu looking at the information in her hands with a playful expression. Lin Yuan asked with a smile. Did someone from the Sea of Bliss clan ambush you on Star Web early in the morning? Upon hearing that, Wen Yu hurriedly stood up and handed the information in her hand to Lin Yuan. Young master, Brother Lu has notified the spirit guards. The spirit guards have already given the Blissful Ocean tribe their final warning, confirming the blood oath between the Blissful Ocean tribe and the Beast Creation Garden. I wonder what young master plans to do next. Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan did not directly say his plan. Instead, he asked Wen Yu. This morning, the people of the Sea of Bliss found you. What was their condition? Wen Yu pointed at the information and said. Young master, the leader of the Blissful Sea clan is Qi Wangyang. However, there is one person in the Blissful Sea tribe who has a higher status than Qi Wangyang, and that is Qi Wangyang's great uncle, Qi Heng. This time, it was Qi Heng who brought Qi Wangyang's son, Qi Haidao, to find me. The two of them did not state any conditions after seeing me. Just say that if Sky City has any needs, the Blissful Sea tribe will do their best to fulfill them. Upon hearing her words, Lin Yuan nodded inwardly. It seemed like the people of the Blissful Sea tribe had already seen through the situation and learned to be obedient. However, since Sky City had taken the initiative to help the Blissful Sea clan fight against the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden, destroying the entire Miao family's Beast Creation Garden would not benefit him. Instead, it would affect Lin Yuan's plan to use the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden to explore the Whale Ocean's trade with the Myriad Flag's lineage. Lin Yuan had a more important purpose for this operation, and that was to harvest faith. It was to strengthen the power of faith in his shrine. Therefore, he had to think about how to maximize the harvest of the power of faith. End of this chapter. Chapter 1257. After some consideration, he could not come up with the best solution, so he decided to tell Wen Yu about it. He wanted to see if Wen Yu could give him some constructive suggestions. Before he spoke, he first had to tell her his purpose. Otherwise, if Wen Yu's suggestion didn't suit his purpose, he would definitely be disappointed. In that case, Wen Yu's suggestion would be in vain. Therefore, Lin Yuan asked Wen Yu. Wen Yu, have you heard of the power of faith? Hearing this, Wen Yu pondered carefully. After pondering for a moment, Wen Yu shook her head after confirming that she had never heard of the power of faith. Wen Yu was a little puzzled by Lin Yuan's sudden question. However, since he had mentioned the power of faith, there was a reason for it. Upon seeing Wen Yu shake her head, Lin Yuan explained softly. The power of faith refers to when a life form develops positive emotions such as worship and respect towards another life form. These positive emotions can be converted into the power of faith. I have a fae whose strength is closely related to the intensity of the power of faith I absorb. Lin Yuan paused for a moment before continuing. If we help the Blissful Ocean tribe win the Blood Oath Extreme Battle, we will definitely have to deal with the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden. Previously, I asked you to investigate the information on the Whale Ocean Trade Branch. You also discovered that there is a huge problem with the Whale Ocean Trade Branch. Recently, Whale Ocean Trade Thousand Flags has been discussing a collaboration with the Beast Creation Garden. My identity as the City Lord of Sky City has a feud with the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden. However, the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden is very fond of my original identity. I have something that I want to borrow the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden to see if I can get it from Whale Ocean Trading. If I get rid of the Miao family now, it will affect my plan. Also, I don't think this is the best way to harvest the power of faith. Many people on Star Web are guessing that Sky City might launch a Blood Oath extreme battle to take revenge on the Beast Creation Garden. In addition, Sky City displayed extraordinary strength in the Blood Oath battle against the Jing family, instantly killing 2 veteran Emperor-level experts, Han Tianhe and Lu Yenshan. Hence, even if the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden is destroyed by Sky City, it won't cause too much of a stir. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's explanation, Wen Yu immediately understood what the power of faith was. At the same time, she knew Lin Yuan's 2 purposes. Soon, Wen Yu had an idea. However, before she said this, she still had to confirm one thing with Lin Yuan. Young master, you said that the power of faith is formed from emotions like respect, worship, and admiration. Then, as long as more people pay attention to this storm, and because of this storm, they will understand your strength. You don't have to stick to a specific identity, right? Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan raised his brows. Why does it sound like I'm a celebrity in my previous life? However, his words were crude, but the logic was not crude. It was indeed logical. My current identity is Sky City City Lord, the combat class Spirit Chi Professional Black, and my current identity. The disturbance caused by Chimey previously allowed me to gain a lot of faith power as Black. Wen Yu's eyes lit up when she heard this, and she confirmed the feasibility of the idea she had just come up with. Wen Yu didn't directly tell him the solution. Instead, she guided Lin Yuan and let him understand the reason she could come up with this idea. Young master, when Pinru and I were creating the Pinru's Wardrobe brand, we thought of immediately using money to spend on some famous Star Web celebrities to promote the clothing. During this process, Pinru and I learned about some extremely popular internet celebrities on Star Web. There is such a group among the extremely popular Star Web celebrities. They are obviously not strong, but they have an odd number of fans. Furthermore, when they encounter a storm, their fans will try their best to protect them. They are very sticky. After saying that, Wen Yu changed the topic and asked, Young master, have you heard of the term fan abuse? Young master, have you heard of the term fan abuse? If the worship, admiration, respect, and other emotions produced because of a certain incident or storm are only temporary, it will slowly dilute with the passage of time and other storms. Then, fan abuse can deepen the worship, admiration, respect, and other emotions, making these emotions more profound. During the observation process, I found that those Star Web celebrities who are not top-notch and have an odd number of fans like to get involved in some matters that have nothing to do with them. They constantly rely on hot events to increase their exposure and occasionally put themselves in a weak position, causing their fans to feel sorry for them. They carry out all kinds of spiritual pulling on their fans. I think this is similar to Young Master's goal of absorbing the power of faith. If you want to collect the maximum amount of the power of faith, we can absorb some essence from it. First of all, Young Master, I think you should first set up an enemy that is so strong that outsiders can't resist for your Sky City City Lord identity. With this enemy around and this enemy standing up to protect the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden. Then we don't have to care about the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden anymore. According to what you just said, each of your identities can absorb the power of faith for you. In my opinion, you should increase the exposure of each of your identities. If Lin Yuan still did not understand, he would really be a fool. If Lin Yuan still did not understand, he would really be a fool. Ever since he had used the law crystals to create 7 Emperor-class experts for the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden, they had been very close to him. Miao Zhua and Miao He, the 2 younger generation competitors of the Beast Creation Garden, had been competing to greet him every day. They did not miss a single moment of time. It was just like how the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden wanted to rely on him. If Sky City helped the Blissful Sea clan win the Blood Oath Extreme Duel at the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden, the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden would definitely beg him when they were at their wits' end. If he helped the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden and saved the lives of the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden from Sky City, he would be the savior of the Miao family's Beast Creation Garden. By then, everyone in the Miao family's beast creation garden would probably be deeply grateful to him. It would undoubtedly be easier for him to use the Miao family's beast creation garden to do things. Moreover, he would use his identity as the Moon Empress disciple to protect the Miao family's beast creation garden from Sky City. In the minds of the other factions and onlookers, they would subconsciously think that the Moon Empress disciple was opposing Sky City. This should be the reason why Wen Yu mentioned to him about torturing his fans. After thinking about it, Lin Yuan felt that Wen Yu's suggestion was very feasible. End of this chapter. Chapter 1258. Moreover, there were two benefits to this storm caused by his two identities. First, the storm was absolutely controllable. Secondly, it was enough to push his two identities to the forefront and gain a lot of exposure. At that time, as long as the storm did not dissipate, his two identities would continue to obtain a large amount of faith power. Wen Yu was indeed a top internal affairs talent. With just a few simple words, she had solved the problem that Lin Yuan had been clueless about. After chatting with Wen Yu for a while, he picked up the teapot on the table. He went to brew a pot of 3 treasures tea with cinnabar sweet osmanthus stamens and lit up the completely jade-textured agarwood. Then, he said to Wen Yu, "That's right. Wen Yu, Zhongzhe will come to visit the manor in a while. Looking at the time, he should be arriving soon. Why don't you come with me to the entrance to welcome Zhongzhe?" Upon hearing this, Wen Yu agreed softly. She then walked toward the mansion's entrance with Lin Yuan. Back when Wen Yu was still a spirit attendant, when she found out that she was going to meet a big shot like Zhongzhe, the disciple of Chef Supreme, she would have been shocked. He would definitely be extremely nervous. However, now that she had been with Lin Yuan for a long time, her vision and experience had improved. Compared to a year ago, when he was still a spirit attendant, his strength had increased 10-fold or even 100-fold. He looked at the outstanding youths like Lin Yuan and Lu Jia all day long. Even though she knew she was going to meet Chef Supreme's disciple, she could still remain calm. Wen Yu, who had arrived at the mansion's entrance, recalled Lu Jia's call in the morning and said to Lin Yuan, "Young master, Brother Lu said that he will come back from the land of soul suppression to cook lunch. Why don't I call Brother Lu now and ask him to buy more ingredients?" Just as she finished speaking, a magnetic chuckle echoed beside him. "Master, the dragon developing pond has just been opened not long ago. The crabs in the dragon developing pond are at their fattest. My diamond face storage box happens to have a lot of new crabs from the evolving dragon pond. Let me cook lunch." Lin Yuan thought to himself when he saw Zhongzhe suddenly appear beside him. Zhongzhe should be like him and also have a spatial fey that could teleport. Just as Lin Yuan turned around and was about to greet Zhongzhe, he keenly noticed that something was wrong with Zhongzhe. Lin Yuan saw that Zhongzhe's pupils were faintly blood red, and his body was emitting a suppressed battle intent. In that regard, Lin Yuan immediately thought of Zhongzhe's misfortune. Astrologer Ji Tan's production speed in the Spirit Lock spatial zone wasn't slow, and he could produce a box in half a month. Wang Fuxiang would need 25 to 26 days to finish a box of Astrologer Ji Tan's pollen. Therefore, even if he had to take care of Wang Fuxiang, he could still allocate enough Astrology Ji Tan pollen for Zhongzhe to use. However, it was clearly not a good time to give Astrologer Ji Tan's pollen to Zhongzhe. Zhongzhe just said that he would take the initiative to make lunch, which meant that Zhongzhe did not treat him as an outsider. Lin Yuan didn't stand on ceremony and replied with a smile. "Last time I ate at Big Brother Zong's place, I've been thinking about Big Brother Zong's cooking. Come, let's go inside first. We'll talk inside." Zhongzhe saw the nearly completed hidden dragon lake in the distance as he walked from the gate to the main residence. Zhongzhe couldn't help but admire the beautiful scenery of the shallow dragon lake. As a Chef Supreme's disciple, Zhongzhe had seen plenty of courtyards and scenery that were built with large amounts of resources. However, not far from Lin Yuan's manor, there was a lake that was dyed with rainbow colors, half a lake of huge lotus leaves, and the 100 pavilions that were built on the lotus leaves and the blooming flowers on the pavilions. All of them displayed the artistic taste of the owner of the manor. Zhongzai's eyes were immediately attracted by the red sandalwood longevity fish tank when he entered the main residence. Compared to other people who had been to the return from faraway manor's main residence, Zhongzai didn't appreciate the value of the scenery but the design. While Lin Yuan was pouring tea for Zhongzai, who was sitting on the water rhinoceros leather sofa, took out 2 brocade boxes and handed them to Lin Yuan. One of these is a gift that I brought as a guest, and the other is the source-type wind crystal treasure vase that you asked me to find. Lin Yuan didn't stand on ceremony and took the 2 brocade boxes from Zhongzai. He took off the bead bracelet that was wrapped around his wrist and handed it to Zhongzai. Big brother Zhong, take this bead bracelet and use it first. You can return it to me when you're done with it. Zhongzai originally only wanted to borrow one of the heavenly maiden grade elemental pearls from Lin Yuan. Now that Lin Yuan handed the entire bead bracelet, which was made up of 108 heavenly maiden grade elemental pearls, to him without the slightest hesitation, Zhongzai's heart trembled fiercely again. This bead bracelet was coiled around Lin Yuan's wrist, so it must be his favorite. Zhongzai originally wanted to take the fire-type heavenly maiden grade elemental pearl from Lin Yuan and put it away first. When he returned to his place, he would take the elemental pearl and let the burning sky centipede sense the pure fire elemental energy within it. However, Zhongzai now felt that it was a little inappropriate for him to take Lin Yuan's favorite item back. Zhongzai summoned his burning sky centipede and said to Lin Yuan, "It just so happens that my burning sky centipede is only 1 step away from bloodline purification. Why don't I take this opportunity to let the burning sky centipede feel the pure fire-type energy within the 2 elemental pearls and purify its bloodline in one go? Why don't I take this opportunity to let the burning sky centipede feel the pure fire-type energy within the 2 elemental pearls and purify its bloodline in one go?" After being summoned by Zhongzai, the burning sky centipede first nested on Zhongzai's neck and squeaked twice. Then, it took the initiative to greet Lin Yuan. Under Zhongzai's instructions, the burning sky centipede came to the table. Then, a surge of fire elemental energy gushed out of the burning sky centipede's body. This surge of fire elemental energy entangled the 2 heavenly maiden grade elemental pearls in Zhongzai's hands. At that moment, the goddess formed by the pearls became abnormally solid. Lin Yuan found that the fire elemental energy within the burning sky centipede's body was assimilating as it sensed the pure fire elemental energy within the heavenly maiden grade elemental pearls. At that moment, Zhongzai shook his hand and took out a few cooked dishes. Zhongzai placed the dishes in front of the burning sky centipede, allowing it to assimilate the fire elemental energy within its body while consuming the dishes to obtain pure spirit qi. These dishes were cooked by the Class 5 Creation Master, Chef Supreme. The Moon Empress was a Class 5 Creation Master, while the Class 5 Creation Master, Chef Supreme, was a Culinary Master. Upon seeing the dishes that Zhongzai took out, Lin Yuan curiously checked them. Through true data, he found that the spirit qi concentration in these dishes was comparable to the spirit qi concentration in the spirit lock spatial zone. It was only about 57% of the spirit qi concentration in the spirit lock spatial zone. Thus, Lin Yuan clearly recognized the difference between the pure spirit qi concocted by the Class 5 Creation Master, Chef Supreme, and the pure spirit qi in the spirit lock spatial zone. New month, seeking monthly votes. Sob, sob, sob. End of this chapter. Chapter 1259. Lin Yuan had been drinking tea and waiting for the burning sky centipede to complete its bloodline purification. However, at this moment, something strange happened to the burning sky roar's body. The burning sky centipede was still assimilating the fire elemental energy in its body, but for some unknown reason, its skin and flesh suddenly split open. Thick fire elemental energy mixed with blood was spewing out from the cracked skin and flesh. The fire attribute energy that was supposed to be controlled by the burning sky centipede became a weapon that could harm the burning sky centipede. Seeing this, Zhongzhe did not panic. Because Zhongzhe already knew that this would happen. Due to the lack of concentration of spiritual energy in the dishes cooked by his chef supreme, the burning sky Ho could not complete the simultaneous strengthening of his body while purifying the fire elemental energy in his body. However, the heaven-burning roar was a desolate bloodline spiritual object that had an innate ability to control flames. It would definitely be able to endure it. If the concentration of the spiritual energy could not keep up, it would definitely leave a big flaw in the purification of the heaven-burning Ho's bloodline. However, this was also a common problem that all spirit chi professionals with the desolate bloodline Fei had to face. At that moment, Zhongzhe saw Lin Yuan extend his hand toward him. Two tightly closed flower buds were lying quietly in Lin Yuan's palm. Big brother Zhong, these two flower buds have very pure spiritual chi. Sky-burning roar should be useful now. Upon hearing that, Zhongzhe subconsciously took the flower bud from Lin Yuan's hand and examined it. With one look, Zhongzhe's cold face, which had always been indifferent to both praise and humiliation, instantly collapsed. Zhongzhe's eyes widened like copper bells, his face revealing an abnormally shocked expression. Zhongzhe looked up at Lin Yuan with a moved and complicated expression. Yuan, this flower bud. Before Zhongzhe could finish speaking, Lin Yuan spoke up anxiously. Big brother Zhong, don't let the heaven-burning centipede use the spiritual chi in this flower bud. The heaven-burning Ho's bloodline is about to complete its evolution due to the lack of spiritual energy. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, Zhongzhe took a deep breath and stared at Lin Yuan for a moment before throwing the two flower buds in his hands at the heaven-burning Ho. He then ordered the burning sky centipede to swallow the two flower buds. Upon hearing Zhongzhe's instructions, the heaven-burning Ho endured the pain of its body cracking. He leaped and caught the two flower buds in his mouth. As the two flower buds entered his stomach, the heaven-burning Ho's skin instantly stopped. Then, the heaven-burning centipede's fur was plated with a bright flame light. This flickering flame spread on the fur of the burning sky centipede, causing its fur to suddenly grow twice as long. At that moment, the centipede let out a violent roar. A red crystal-like, curved horn suddenly grew out of the heaven-burning Ho's forehead. The heaven-burning roar's incisors, which were already protruding from its lips, were now longer and covered with a layer of transparent red substance. At the same time, the burning sky centipede's body grew from the size of 2 palms to the size of a meter-long beast. Upon seeing the burning sky centipede's current state, Lin Yuan suddenly thought of the Mountain Sea Catalog's introduction of Chi Centipede, Centipede Dragon, the Centipede Dragon King in, and, God, the Centipede, Centipede, Dragon, and Fei. Ho. Dragon, God, Centipede. He found it strange that Zhongzhe's heaven-burning centipede dragon's characteristics were different from the Centipede Dragon King in the Mountain Sea Catalog. It seemed that it was because his bloodline had not been purified. The heaven-burning centipede's appearance was exactly the same as the Mountain Sea Catalog's description of centipede. Zhongzhe was very happy to see the heaven-burning centipede's changes. Zhongzhe knew that because of the pure spirit chi that Lin Yuan had given him, the heaven-burning centipede's bloodline transformation was no longer just to increase the purity of the fire elements in his body. Even his physical body had undergone a complete transformation. It could be said that not long ago, Lin Yuan had come to his residence and given him the heavenly maiden-grade elemental pearl. At this point in time, Lin Yuan had already given him 2 unexpected opportunities. When Zhongzhe was very young, Chef Supreme had told Zhongzhe, "Even if you think of yourself as a good friend, it is very likely that he will break your opportunity when it comes. As for friends who can give you opportunities on your path of growth, you must cherish them. If someone can give you opportunities many times without asking for anything in return. If that person is a woman, you will marry her. If that person is a man, you will treat him as a blood-related brother." Before Zhongzhe could think more about what Chef Supreme had said to him, the heaven-burning centipede, whose bloodline had been completely purified, suddenly spat out 8 high-grade extraordinary flames from its abdomen. These 8 extraordinary flames circulated around the heaven-burning centipede's body and were magnificent. If the heaven-burning centipede had not been controlling the 8 high-grade extraordinary flames and not letting the 8 high-grade extraordinary flames heat spill into the environment, his main residence, which was full of completely jade-textured wood furniture, would have been burned to ashes. Looking at the 8 high-grade extraordinary flames surrounding the heaven-burning centipede, his heart trembled slightly. In the previous duel with Zhongzhe in the cultural relic duel martial arena, he had seen how powerful the heaven-burning centipede's exclusive skill, 8 refinements, was. When Zhongzhe let the heaven-burning centipede attack the target, it would spit out the 8 high-grade extraordinary flames in its abdomen. The 8 high-grade extraordinary flames would constantly superimpose and gradually increase the damage 8 times. When the last damage burst, its combat power would be comparable to the strength of a top-notch extraordinary flame. At that moment, the 8 high-grade extraordinary flames were constantly purifying the fire elemental energy contained in them under the heaven-burning centipede's control. After the 8 high-grade extraordinary flames were purifying the fire elemental energy contained in them, the flames became even more crystalline. Among them, there were 7 leaping flame cores that caused faint ripples to appear in the surrounding space. Another bright red extraordinary flame's flame core even caused space to become distorted. It could be seen that the temperature of these 8 high-grade extraordinary flames had definitely increased a lot compared to before. At that moment, Zhongzhe gave an order to the heaven-burning centipede. The heaven-burning centipede retains the red plum meteorite flame and uses fire tempering to temper it with the other 7 high-grade extraordinary flames. Upon hearing Zhongzhe's instructions, the heaven-burning centipede's body moved. Then, a flame that was like a blooming red plum was summoned in front of the heaven-burning centipede. The other 7 extraordinary flames of different colors were like moths flying into a flame. One after another, they pounced toward the red plum-like flame that was summoned in front of the heaven-burning centipede. As the red plum meteorite flame devoured these high-grade extraordinary flames that had been purified and contained fire elemental energy, it was constantly becoming stronger. In the process of absorbing the 5 extraordinary flames, the red plum meteorite flame surroundings even faintly showed the phenomenon of red plum blossoms fluttering in the wind and frost spreading. Lin Yuan thought, it seems that Zhongzhe is doing this to use the other 7 extraordinary flames to promote the red plum meteorite flame from a high-grade extraordinary flame to a top-notch extraordinary flame. Chapter 1260. If the red plum blossoms fluttering in the wind and frost blossoms phenomenon behind the red plum meteorite was completed, the red plum meteorite flame would then truly become a top-notch heavenly flame. This was because only the burning of a top-notch heavenly flame would cause a phenomenon. When Zhongzhe saw the changes in the red plum meteorite flame, he flipped his hand and a brocade pouch appeared in his hand. After Zhongzhe opened the brocade pouch, Lin Yuan saw that it was filled with fire-type heavenly maiden-grade elemental pearls. At this moment, Zhongzhe was throwing the fire attribute heavenly maiden-grade elemental pearls into the sky burning Ho one by one. He allowed the burning sky roar to use its pure fire elemental energy to nourish the red plum meteorite fire that was absorbing the other 7 strange fires with all its might. Zhongzhe's decision to let the red plum meteorite flame devour the other 7 advanced mystical flames was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was a decision that Zhongzhe had made a long time ago. The red plum meteorite flame was the strange flame that Zhongzhe was most comfortable with among all the strange flames he had encountered. In truth, the red plum meteorite flame was not a high-grade mysterious flame at first. Zhongzhe had discovered that as an intermediate mysterious flame, the red plum meteorite flame's temperature was much higher than other intermediate mysterious flames. Hence, Zhongzhe had the burning heaven roar continuously increase the strength of the crimson plum meteorite through its skill, flame refinement, upgrading the crimson meteorite from an intermediate mysterious flame to an advanced mysterious flame. The red plum meteorite flame did not disappoint Zhongzhe. The high temperature released by the red plum meteorite flame, a high-grade mysterious flame, was comparable to some top-notch mysterious flames. High temperature was one of the characteristics of the fire element that Zhongzhe needed the most. Whether it was the heaven's crimson fire or the reincarnated flame beast, the high temperature was extremely high. Both of them could greatly enhance the lethality of the two. At the same time, the high temperature of the red plum meteorite flame could enhance the characteristics of other mystical flames to a certain extent. After all, high temperature was a basic condition for flames to burn. In addition, the high-temperature red plum meteorite was summoned by the burning sky roar, which was equivalent to releasing an area of effect damage. At that moment, Zhongzhe was clenching his fists tightly. He was looking forward to the temperature increase of the advanced red plum meteorite flame after it advanced to a top-notch strange flame. Zhongzhe, who had been burning with misfortune since he was young, had long been used to using his mind to suppress the surging battle intent that was constantly born from the misfortune in his heart. It could be said that Zhongzhe had been using his mind to build a dam to resist the tide of battle intent from swallowing his rationality. In that case, the emotional fluctuation toward Lin Yuan just now was equivalent to shaking the dam. Now that this sense of anticipation was born, it opened a hole in the dam of Zhongzhe's mind. The collapse of a 1,000-mile dike could be caused by an ant's nest. Battle intent gushed out from the hole in the dam, instantly causing the dam that Zhongzhe's mind had forged to collapse. The hidden redness in Zhongzhe's eyes suddenly spread out. Zhongzhe's eyes, whether it was his eyeballs or the whites of his eyes, were instantly dyed blood red. Zhongzhe's remaining rationality made him think to himself, "Oh no." Previously, Zhongzhe had also been in a situation where he had nowhere to vent his fighting spirit. Under such circumstances, Zhongzhe would often find a place to unleash his battle intent. Until he was completely exhausted and had no more strength to move. Every time Zhongzhe used this method to release his battle intent, he could release the majority of his battle intent. This allowed Zhongzhe to suppress his battle intent and maintain his rationality for the next half a month. This is Lin Yuan's mansion. I won't destroy Lin Yuan's mansion if I go crazy, right? However, Zhongzhe didn't have time to worry because his remaining rationality had been completely devoured by the battle intent. While the intense battle intent devoured Zhongzhe's rationality, Zhongzhe let out a roar similar to that of a trapped beast. Zhongzhe's roar startled Wen Yu. As a result, the burning roar could no longer focus on using flame's refinement to strengthen the red plum meteorite flame with its final advanced mysterious flame. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan spoke to Wen Yu. "Wen Yu is fine. I have a solution for Zhongzhe," he hurriedly said to the burning sky roar. "Leave the burning heaven roar to me. Calm down and upgrade the red plum meteoric flame. Otherwise, Zhongzhe's hopes of elevating the red plum meteoric flame to a top-notch heavenly flame will be completely dashed. You don't want Zhongzhe to be disappointed because he didn't see the top-notch meteoric red plum flame when he wakes up, right?" After appeasing the burning heaven mantis, he immediately flashed into the spirit lock spatial zone. He grabbed a handful of pollen that astrologer Ji Tan had just matured and had yet to collect. After leaving the spirit lock spatial zone and returning to the main mansion, Lin Yuan immediately scattered the astrologer wisdom epiphyllum's pollen on Zhongzhe, who was preparing to launch indiscriminate attacks in the surroundings. Zhongzhe inhaled the pollen, but it did not make the blood-red color in his eyes fade. However, it allowed Zhongzhe to calm down and was no longer as crazy as before. Upon seeing this, Lin Yuan once again returned to the spirit lock spatial zone and grabbed another handful of astrologer Ji Tan's pollen. However, this time, Lin Yuan did not directly scatter the pollen on Zhongzhe. Instead, he took the crane's shadow sensor. After crushing astrologer Ji Tan's pollen with his hands, he sprinkled the crushed pollen on the burning, jade-textured agarwood. By burning the incense, he allowed the pollen to completely release the fragrance. Lin Yuan placed the crane's shadow sensor beside Zhongzhe and let Zhongzhe try his best to fumigate the pollen. After the second handful of pollen was completely burned, Zhongzhe's battle intent was gradually suppressed. This allowed Zhongzhe to once again build a dam in his mind to isolate the battle intent. Lin Yuan frowned as he looked at the astrology wisdom cloud's pollen in the crane's shadow incense cauldron. according to the consumption of the astrological epiphyllum pollen, as well as Zhongzai's current state after absorbing the astrological epiphyllum pollen. Lin Yuan could tell that Zhongzai's misfortune influence was much more severe than Wang Fuxiang's. Fortunately, as long as there was a long-term supply of astrological epiphyllum pollen, Zhongzai's bad luck could still be completely eliminated. However, this period of time could be as short as half a year, or as long as a year. After Zhongzai regained consciousness, in front of Zhongzai's eyes appeared a strange scene of red plum blossoms soar to the clouds, purple blossoms bloom, crimson colors cover the sky. The red plum blossom in the vision stretched out its enchanting branches, constantly changing the shape of its branches. As the plum blossom branches stretched out, the bright red plum blossoms on the branches bloomed and fell. When the red plum-shaped flower was at its most beautiful, it would instantly wither. The rustling shadows of the fallen plum blossoms were extremely charming and gentle. Furthermore, this vision had never disappeared since it appeared. In the center of the vision, the red plum-shaped flame was burning brightly. However, Zhongzai no longer had the mood to pay attention to the long-awaited red plum meteorite flame. He also didn't bother about the burning sky centipede, which had come to his side and was worriedly stirring its ears. Instead, he fixed his gaze on Lin Yuan. Chapter 1261. Ever since he was young, Zhongzai's greatest fear was that his mind would be controlled by the surging battle intent caused by misfortune. The burning sensation of being filled with battle intent was one thing, but more importantly, Zhongzai had been taught to be a powerhouse since he was young. Therefore, Zhongzai did not like to let things get out of his control. What's more, he couldn't control his own body. Even Supreme Chef didn't know that because Zhongzai's mind was often controlled by the fighting will. This caused Zhongzai to be infected with the disease of nightmares. Not only did Zhongzai have to face the feeling of being controlled by battle intent in reality, but he was also forced to review that feeling in his dreams. Until he woke up from his dream. The fact that his mind could be controlled by battle intent had always been a knot in Zhongzai's life, a knot that could not be untied. Ever since he had smelled Lin Yuan's scent at the Night Ruler's assembly. In Zhongzai's nightmares, there would often be a figure with a delicate fragrance that could help him suppress his battle intent. This figure allowed Zhongzai to no longer fight the Nightmare Lord alone. It also made Zhongzai less afraid of the Nightmare Lord. In the process of being controlled by the fighting will, Zhongzai smelled this fragrance again. The appearance of this fragrance even made Zhongzai think that he was dreaming. However, the fragrance he smelled just now was far stronger than in his dream, and it also made him more awake. It was only when Zhongzai once again used his mind to build a dam, blocking the surging battle intent, that he finally regained consciousness. Only then did Zhongzai realize that he wasn't in a dream, but reality. Zhongzai didn't know what the fragrance was when he was controlled by the fighting will just now. However, Zhongzai was now 100% sure that this fragrance did not come from Lin Yuan. Instead, he had something that could suppress the misfortune. Not long ago, Zhongzai had gone to the purple bamboo forest with his chef supreme. He had heard that the Moon Empress had used a spirit herb to remove Wang Fuxiang's bad luck. After that, his master, Chef Supreme, had personally begged the Moon Empress, but she had not agreed. Lin Yuan's fragrant spirit herb should be the same as the one the Moon Empress had given to Wang Fuxiang. Lin Yuan saw that Zhongzai was staring at him but did not speak for a moment. Lin Yuan was the first to speak. Big brother Zhong, congratulations on successfully upgrading your high-grade red plum cloud flame to a peak-grade mysterious flame. Upon hearing that, Zhongzai's heart could not help but feel warm again. The burning sky centipede had told him what Lin Yuan had done when he had communicated with him spiritually. Based on Zhongzai's understanding of the burning sky centipede, if not for Lin Yuan's comfort, the burning sky centipede would not have survived. The heaven-burning Ho would definitely not be in the mood to continue strengthening the red plum cloud fire because of his condition. It could be said that Lin Yuan had played a huge role in evolving the high-class red plum cloud flame into a pinnacle strange flame. However, Zhongzhe only remembered that his master, Chef Supreme, once said that if a woman gave him many opportunities without asking for anything in return, he should marry her. If a man gave him many opportunities, then he should treat him as his blood-related brother. But if it was a man who not only gave her many opportunities, what should he do if he was able to pull him out in a time of crisis? Zhongzhe carried the burning sky roar and said to Lin Yuan with an abnormally solemn expression, "Brother, I can't thank you enough." Upon hearing that, Lin Yuan reached out and patted Zhongzhe's shoulder. "You've already called me brother, but big brother Zhong is still so polite with me." After saying that, Lin Yuan thought about the production of astrologer Ji Tan and Zhongzhe's current misfortune. After thinking for a moment, he asked Zhongzhe, "Big brother Zhong, is it convenient for you to tell me about your misfortune?" Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, Zhongzhe answered without hesitation. "When I was young, I encountered an attack and almost died. That was when I was infected with misfortune. All these years, Master has thought of many ways to get rid of the misfortune I've been infected with. In recent years, the misfortune's influence on me has been getting stronger. In the early years, I could suppress my battle intent for at least 4 months. However, as I grew older and my mind became stronger, I could only suppress my battle intent for a month. And this is under the condition that I'm not affected by external influences during this month. Previously, Master tested me and found that under the stimulation of the external environment, even if I suppressed the battle intent brought by the misfortune with all my might, I would still go berserk 3 times in a month." At that point, Zhongzhe's face revealed a painful expression. It could be said that this was the thing that Zhongzhe was most unwilling to recall. If Lin Yuan had not asked, even if Gu Lang had mentioned this matter, Zhongzhe would not have chosen to reopen his scar again. After knowing that the fragrance on Lin Yuan's body came from a spirit herb that could suppress his misfortune, Zhongzhe had the thought of asking Lin Yuan about this spirit herb. Thus, Zhongzhe had the thought of asking Lin Yuan about this spirit herb. Since his master had not obtained this spirit herb from the Moon Empress, could he obtain some spirit herbs from Lin Yuan to suppress his misfortune? If he ignored the misfortune, he might not even need 3 years. He would become a killing machine controlled by his battle intent. In the end, before Zhongzhe could speak, Lin Yuan spoke first. "Big brother Zhong should have a way to deal with your misfortune. However, you will need to go through a period of treatment that could be as short as half a year or as long as a year." When Zhongzhe heard Lin Yuan's words, he was startled. Zhongzhe never expected that when he was thinking about how to mention this spirit herb, Lin Yuan had already taken the initiative to treat his misfortune. Lin Yuan had already taken the initiative to treat the misfortune he was infected with. Zhongzhe, who had just said that he would not thank Lin Yuan with words, knew that he really did not need to thank him now. Using words to express his gratitude was equivalent to blaspheming Lin Yuan's intentions. If Lin Yuan could treat his misfortune, let alone half a year or as long as a year, even if he treated it for 10 or 20 years, he might not even be able to take root. As long as he could suppress his misfortune, it was equivalent to helping him reshape his life that was tortured by misfortune. In the future, he would not have to be forced to endure a torturous nightmare when he fell asleep every day. He would also not have to be afraid that one day he would be controlled by his battle intent when he was improving his strength. He would not have to use the strength that he had worked hard to increase to hurt the people closest to him. "Brother, if you need me for anything in the future, I will definitely go through water and tread on fire without hesitation." Upon hearing Zhongzhe's words, Lin Yuan suddenly recalled the spirit fixation silver mine that the goblins had discovered at the border of the Divine Wood Federation. Lin Yuan had previously thought of recruiting manpower and using the large amount of spirit fixation silver produced by the spirit fixation silver mine to make artifacts and sell them. The artifacts made of spirit fixation silver were considered daily necessities for creation masters and were in great demand. However, if he wanted to make spirit fixation silver in large quantities, it was definitely not enough to rely on the spirit craftsmen in the Heavenly Craft Pavilion. Chapter 1262. Lin Yuan did not want to create a team from scratch to produce and consume the spirit-calming silver ores. This would make the Sky City's composition appear too bloated. In addition to investing a lot of material resources, it would also take a lot of effort. Moreover, the team created for the spirit-calming silver was destined to collide with the listening heron chamber of commerce's function. This was not what Lin Yuan wanted. In addition, the spirit-calming goblins could almost be equivalent to a walking mine. Apart from the spirit-calming silver ores, the spirit-calming goblins might find other ores. In order to keep up with the spirit-calming goblins' mining speed, Lin Yuan would almost have to create a huge team from scratch that was comparable to a top faction. After all, top factions could not continuously develop ores in a very short time. Therefore, after thinking about it, Lin Yuan felt that he might as well be idle. He would simply do the business of the mineral itself. Big Brother Zong, I really have something to ask you. I don't know if you've heard that faction currently has a project that needs a lot of minerals. Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, Zong Zai raised his brows and thought to himself. Could Lin Yuan have found some ores? In the Radiance Federation, ores could not be mined at will. In each of the 32 major cities, all the ores within a radius of 10,000 square kilometers belonged to the major cities. Only ores within a radius of 10,000 kilometers could be freely mined by the factions. Those places that were not under the control of the major cities had long been occupied by a few top factions, dozens of veteran factions, and hundreds of rising factions. This cake was not easy to divide. However, Zong Zai happened to have a ready-made project that required a lot of ores. One of the top factions, Hearthstone, which specialized in metal and spiritual materials, was backed by Chef Supreme. Therefore, Hearthstone had offered many newly discovered ores to Chef Supreme in exchange for the opportunity to enhance phase. Chef Supreme had also handed over these ores to him to deal with. It happened that Gu Lang's side was in a similar situation. Therefore, Zong Zai simply partnered with Gu Lang and set up a faction that specialized in developing ores. This faction took in nearly 10,000 spirit craftsmen. The Creation Master team that Zong Zai set up would provide a lot of Creation Master resources for this faction every year. If Lin Yuan had a lot of ores to consume, then don't think about taking all of them. Zong Zai said as he recalled his 50% shares in this faction. Lin Yuan, Gu Lang and I established a faction 7 to 8 years ago. Because this organization only works for me and Gu Lang, it doesn't even have a name. This force usually uses metal spirit materials to forge artifacts, or carve metal spirit materials into cubes of equal size, and then sells these artifacts and cubes in the market. Why don't I give you 25% of this force's shares? If you need any more metals or spirit materials in the future, you can just throw them to this force. When Wen Yu heard Zong Zai's words, she was shocked. No matter how busy Wen Yu was, she never slowed down her work of gathering intelligence for Sky City. He naturally knew how much resources and cash flow Zong Zai and Gu Lang had established this faction. Even though Sky City had a lot of resources at its disposal right now, there was still a lot of them. However, the resources of Sky City could probably match up to 5% of that force's resources. After all, the resources of such a force that controlled the mine were all given by the heavens and earth. Zong Zai had given Lin Yuan 25% of the faction's shares to thank him. In Wen Yu's opinion, Zong Zai was too wasteful. There was no need to thank someone like this. Even if Wen Yu was a spirit attendant, it was hard to imagine that someone would give away such a huge amount of wealth with just a few words. What was the difference between Zong Zai giving Lin Yuan 25% of the faction's shares and Master Mystic Moon cutting the Radiant Moon Palace's purse and giving it away? When Lin Yuan heard Zong Zai's words, he hurriedly shook his head. Big Brother Zong, even a brother can't give away shares for no reason. But if Big Brother Zong has a faction that can consume a lot of metal spirit materials, then I can really cooperate with you. Seeing that Zong Zai was still insisting on giving him 25% of the shares, Lin Yuan hurriedly added. If I cooperate with Big Brother Zong, you won't let me suffer a loss, right? Upon hearing Lin Yuan's words, Zhongzhe could not continue to insist and could only say helplessly, "If I cooperate with you, I won't let you suffer a loss. Even if I suffer a loss, I won't let you suffer a loss." After thinking for a moment, Lin Yuan told Zhongzhe the truth. "Big brother Zhong, I usually go to the outer realm to train. When I encountered an underground dimensional rift in the outer realm, I happened to catch a mineral vein gnome, and the mineral vein gnome also happened to find a spirit-stabilizing silver mine. I want to discuss a deal with Big Brother Zhong for an entire spirit-stabilizing silver mine." When Zhongzhe heard Lin Yuan's words, he could not help but click his tongue. Lin Yuan's series of coincidences were simply too coincidental. Not only did he encounter a spirit-stabilizing silver mine, but he also encountered a mineral vein gnome. With a mineral vein gnome, it meant that there would be countless large mines waiting to be excavated in the future. If Zhongzhe had simply wanted to help Lin Yuan before, he now felt that he was not helping Lin Yuan. Instead, Lin Yuan was helping him. With the continuous mining of the mineral vein, the minerals contained in the mineral vein were getting lesser and lesser. In addition, new mineral veins were extremely difficult to find, so the spirit craftsmen of Zhongzhe and Gu Lang's faction only needed to work about 6 hours a day. If Lin Yuan could provide a large number of ores, then as long as the faction's spirit craftsmen worked longer, he would immediately be able to create a huge amount of wealth. "Lin Yuan, if I had only given you 25% of the shares earlier, now, I think I should give you at least 30% of the shares to cooperate with you. Of course, the shares that I'm talking about now are completely based on the actual value of the exchange, not including other factors." Zhongzhe paused for a moment before continuing. "Lin Yuan, do you have any intention of using the mine to invest in the faction that Gu Lang and I have established? If there is, I will contact Gu Lang now and clarify the division of shares." Lin Yuan felt that Zhongzhe's suggestion was very feasible. Using the mine to buy shares was the most convenient option for Lin Yuan. He just had to wait for the shares to be distributed peacefully. He didn't need to worry too much about it. Thus, Lin Yuan nodded. "All right, Big Brother Zhong, why don't you call Gu Lang over and we can talk face to face?" Zhongzhe immediately dialed Gu Lang's number. "You're tuning into the A Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.